All right. What is up, Faux Nation? I guess that's yeah. I'll go with that. All right. I got my good friends Goodman and the Pope here. You want to say hi?
Hello?
Phonation?
I don't
What's a
know.
phonation?
It's like Malifaux and then Nation. Faux Nation. It's fake nation. We're not real.
It's like Vape Nation. Alright.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone has a snappy YouTube opening. I gotta figure one out.
Alright.
And I can't just do like Ludwig Boys over and over and over again because that's someone else more popular and actually successful.
Hey, if you don't steal things, then are you really a YouTuber?
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it. Malifaux of Madness finally on the app. We have the cards to be able to look at. I would say these are our hot takes, but because we didn't go off the book this time when it came out and decided to wait for the app, we have talked about these a decent amount, at least inside our friend group. I personally haven't played with any of it, minus Damien, obviously. Um, so we'll still be going in decently blind for me. I know Landon has at least touched it, but
I've got a whole 2 games in. And by 2 games I mean like 4 turns. I'm educated.
yeah. So we obviously already have complete knowledge of exactly what's happening and exactly where we're going. And with that, I guess we're just going to begin, and we're just going to begin with the very easy Damien because we're going left to right. Nothing more important than that. I think Damien, especially Damien 2, easy 5-star. I'll just put it on the screen. We've been over this. I think no one else really is disagreeing at this point. I will say this: he's obviously not the pinnacle I think he was pre the rest of Madness coming out, as we'll talk about some of the other masters that are released in this book. But he's definitely a very good master.
Yeah, real quick, you say 5 stars. Have we talked about stars before? Is this like a,
Oh, that's a good point.
5-star ranking?
We are going to be. We're not doing a tier list this time, mostly because I don't really see how that works unless we do it like for each keyword, which we'll eventually do on our good friends show, Danger Planet. But right now, we're just going to do a star rating of how good we think the car is. 5-star, I think, is going to be the easiest rating. It's going to be seeing competitive play at the very top tier. 4-star, I think you'll definitely see competitive play, but it's a bit more of like a not always or not the top of the faction, I guess. 3-star is just it's a good model. You'll bring it. 2-star is you probably won't bring it or rarely ever bring it, and then 1-star obviously is just going to be trash. Why bother? And we'll probably get looser with that as we talk about it. But that's a great point to bring up.
Yeah, just get that out of the way early.
So yeah, I think we'll run through Damien a little bit just because everyone's seen him. They've seen the abilities, cards, crew, everything. So any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's not super important that we go over it in incredible detail, but I know like lots of people had problems with this thing being shipped if they weren't in the US, right? Not everyone has the glory of just walking over to Gen Con and getting one and then crushing their locals for the next 6 months. But there's a thing.
That's fair. I guess to talk a little bit more about this is what we normally call Damien 2. He's going to be the one who's stripping suits, preventing soulstone use. His best benefit is that he just can beat the crap out of people, synergizes really well with the rest of his crew. So you're probably hiring almost all keyword. I would say actually on 2 you're hiring all keyword pretty much all the time. Um, his biggest downside is he dies when he's killed. And
Yeah,
that's
I've heard people struggling to play Damien, their first couple times playing him, but like just to give some advice if you wanted it, I guess. The things that are the most obnoxious about it are firstly, we've got the severe injury coupled with the blasts for the crow and tome triggers that you get, which are really easy to abuse and just really wreck crews fast. It's the way you get tabled on like turn 2 or 3. And then the fact that you can arc out a Damien to shoot with Mia is one of those things that really is good.
Yeah, I would say one of the more important things to know to play around, or even to play with if you are Damien, is to make sure you always know where the Soulstone Golem's going to be and where Damien being nearby that guy is able to actually hit your models as well. Because getting plus the damage flips off of, the Soulstone Golem is what really enables him to hit those mod 4s and even Severes of 5s to enable those blasts to actually do good chunks of damage.
Even doing mins though, they're pretty nasty. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
will. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of actually doing mod 4s and 5s just because I don't actually care as much about the blast. He's just a great henchman killer in my mind. Bonus
yeah.
action turns a stat 6 henchman to stat 5. Hit them with a couple mod 4s. You can't soulstone anything. Your 8 wound candy is now just gone. Your dreamer dead. There's just nothing you can do about it if you're in that aura.
It's really cool. You have such amazing counterplay as make sure there's a wall between you and Damien, because models won't count.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the biggest thing keeping him on the table as far as defensive tech? Because it sounds like he has to be in the front.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to keep Damien alive is making sure your opponent doesn't have pass tokens or multiple chain activations, because you actually have an insane amount of healing in the crew. Damien himself can heal with his rams. A lot of people do like bonus action healing with the golem or Gaiman. The golem himself can just heal too from pretty far away. So there's a lot of like healing throughout the crew, but it's all small and slow healing over time. So the best way to kill Damien is a couple of activations in a row, big hits, just kind of can murk him. If you can't do that, he'll just stay in the middle of your crew and just be super annoying.
So basically, he kills you better than you kill him, and unless he can get bursted.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and because it's just hard to compete with cards as well with him. So I think that's most we'll say about Damien. We've already talked about him a lot. I'll just flip over to his title. I'll keep the 5 stars up on the screen. He's good. This one focuses more on
5
bonus
stars
action.
on the screen. I'm not seeing 5 stars.
Because you're not watching the stream. You're watching.
Oh, let me go watch the YouTube.
You're watching
nope, I
my
see it now. You're
screen
good.
share.
I got it. I see it now.
So yeah, he's just bonus action. You can't have armor shielded anymore. Really good at just hurting armored things. I think it's going to be a good tech pick. This Damien is the best if you are needing to take out a keyword models, because he doesn't rely as much on his keyword, mostly just to add more cards to the configuration, which dabblers can just do a lot of anyways. So you can just hire one of those instead of hiring like multiple golems, and you don't really care too much about keeping the cards in there. So a lot more stay back, focus, blast things, stack injured guys, just be super annoying, and hire Arcanist All-Stars, which is going to get a huge upgrade coming up. Spoilers.
Yeah, I think one of the more important things to note is that with this guy, I think where you put Lolith is a bit more important. I think with the other Damien, if you get to pluses, it's nice, but with this one, it's how you're really leveraging him to win the game, I think. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think it's not going to be as relevant anymore, just because you're going to be able to get focus on your master much easier. But obviously double focus is even better, especially for those pesky hard to wound crews.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, definitely that. I think we're going to see a small uptick in this guy. I truly thought Unbound was just hands down the best master you could have probably been playing in these last 6 months. And picking Damien 1 was always kind of just like a crutch. He's really good, but he's not like, he doesn't have the high highs. He's just solidly good, and I think that's going to temper him down a little bit currently. But he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good against Tull, the new guild master, and that's going to be important to be good against. So yeah, Goodman, you have any thoughts on this, or we just breeze through?
No, seems about right.
All right. onwards to the next in the keyword, Loath. We brought him up. This big gangly guy, his pretty much sole purpose is his bonus action. Once he has that up, anyone in that aura, he can take a damage to get a plus to any flip. That includes prevention flips and damage flips. It's all flips. It's just disgusting. And then sometimes he'll just heal a model, too, or heal a bunch of models too. So, yeah.
Did you put Lilith on the? Okay, my stream's really far behind. I only just got Lilith on the screen.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep the 5 stars up there.
Yeah, I don't see you ever playing Witness without this guy, so I think 5 stars is appropriate.
I will say this, one thing that people don't pay as much attention to is just how obscene of a beater Loath is himself. Most people do. I literally just said it, that his whole thing is his bonus action, but a lot of the time, especially against enforcers or minions, you just decide to, hey, I'll throw a boulder my way towards you, and then I have 2 severes in hand, so I'm just going to attack you with my fists, plus to damage myself, and then just smack you for 6, and gain a soulstone while doing it sometimes. So
I mean, just blasting off of a dude for like 5 double blast is also really good. Like, this crew has a shit ton of blasts.
yeah, it's really good to just be like, oh, Loath can just single-handedly deal 11 damage to 1 target if you have the cards, and it's not that unbelievable to pull off with if you just decide to like fully damage Loath, because you plus flip the attack, you then can plus flip the damage, and you do that twice. It's just, you just hit severe on your gun, then bammo, you hit severe on your fist, the guy's just dead.
Yeah.
So now we're going to finally start mixing it up, I think. Belventine Thorpe.
I got hit by last release in the last game I played with Lilith. That ability comes up in weird ways.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that.
Especially now that we're seeing a couple more schemes, marker schemes. There's not a lot of them, but when they come up, you generally need markers in a grouping, and this just mass removes them. It's pretty funny. Also, he's a House of Soul model that doesn't just fucking die like the gamers do. But
gamers.
Onward to Thorpe. I'll just quick go 4 stars on Thorpe. She's really good, really great outmaneuver. You're probably almost always playing her in Damien 2 because range I've got your back is insane. As we talked about, you go in with Damien, and then you can just, I got your back from 14-ish inches away, and that's really good. On top of also, outmaneuvering, obeying people, healing from loss, a certain number of models, and a gun that just stuns willpower 6 people. So the only reason I'm giving this 4 stars over 5 stars is I don't think you're actually going to see this as much in Damien 1 anymore. If you're not arcing through people, it's just the range isn't great. Deadly Pursuit, while pretty useful, doesn't actually get you up the board as much as you want, and you're going to be flipping more TNs, and you generally just have better things to spend cards on in Damien 1, and you're not actually getting that much out of it there.
I don't think you're usually going to be upset if the Arcane Firearm works, but if the Arcane Firearm's not getting anything big, maybe it's just not the best.
Yeah. And a lot of the time you end up just being like a 9-point scheme runner, which isn't the worst when you're obeying like other big models. But Goodman, your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think that Pinestone Scheme Runner is fine when she's also providing a bunch of utility for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, the discard a card to take concentration action actually comes up against some crews as well, so that's just something funny to have to remember against. Even though it's called Guild Deserter, weirdly enough, it comes up more against Outcasts, I felt like, but I guess it's
I'm not sure I
particularly good
understand the
against
flavor of
Vegeta.
it being called Guild Deserted to begin with, but yeah, maybe it's just we want the anti-Berdita card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, onwards to Marco. Do I just give Marco 5 stars? No, because it's not like an always take for me. Marco is like ridiculously good though. Ink Fingers is just a very strong ability, especially with the amount of card draw we're seeing now, where you really don't want to let people carry their curated hand of cards into the next turn. comes up a lot. Etheric Grenade is just simply amazing in Damien 2. I would probably have this as 5-star in Damien 2. The only reason I don't is because of Damien 1.
I think it's
Shockwaving.
5 stars.
You know what? Yeah, sure. I'll just give it. I think.
Like Lashing Tendrils is just a really good piece of tech that Arcanist doesn't have a lot of to begin with. Of just like moving all your guys around. Like I don't know, I rate him pretty high.
Yeah, it's really on the edge for me just because there are a decent amount of times I think in Damien 1 you're not necessarily taking him. Lashing Tendrils is really good. Obviously, Massive Tentacles on a tactical action. We've seen how amazing it is on Thriller Driller and X's, and it's still amazing. You just don't get as much value in Damien 1, but he's one of the few targets that you can fast, and he's probably the best one you can fast using your totem.
Not Mia? I would have thought Mia would be the best one you could fast with the totem.
Surprisingly, I actually have recently gotten more value fasting Marco. A lot of the times it's because just launching many etheric grenades is really good. Particularly in Damien 2, where drawing a card with Surge is pretty much the same as drawing a card with Prioritize. So drawing a card from your config can actually just be better than drawing a card from your deck, especially if you're using Mia to add like the 13 of Tomes to it, and you just want that in your hand in Damien 2. And you just...
No, I gotcha.
So you get to do that while also pulsing out a really annoying move 13 duel to a whole crew. If you hit, cool. If not, you're not really at risk because you're arcing through another guy. You're like 16 inches away from the people you're throwing this grenade at. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty rude.
Turns out arcing is a really good ability.
Yeah. So it really does come down to the simple fact that like Mia, an extra attack doesn't equate as much if you're starting to run out of cards, whereas this is just like, oh, I'll just keep trying to get more cards. I only need a 6 most times to guarantee the card. Sometimes you need exactly the 6 across.
No, that makes sense. Like stat 5 doesn't always hit.
Yeah.
Whereas, flipping a 6, you can always at least swap a card for cheating a 6.
Yep. Onward to Legerdemain, the other one who you might actually do. This one I will give a maybe controversial 3 stars. Especially after how much I play this guy and use him, he very much is needed only in specific pools. Otherwise, the crews in Arcanist are just getting so tight that I think him as a 7 cost just isn't really worth it anymore. Needing him to be in the crew just to drop a couple scheme markers. But if you need to drop the scheme markers, he's so good at it. False Claim is just amazing. The rest of it's just like, why are you not hiring Marco? Maybe just a couple more gamers or even dabblers to add cards to your config, unfortunately.
So the neat part that I've heard that people really like about this guy is the disillusion with the phantasmal doorway to just kidnap people through walls. Like that's what I've heard people really like about this guy from what they played of him. But
yeah,
I don't necessarily disagree with your take.
It's the same trick Damien obviously does already, or Damien 2. So it is nice in Damien 1, but Damien 1 you're not arcing, so it is now just at stat 6.
Yeah, they fast this guy, they just walk him 3 times and then kidnap something, I think is what I've heard. I'm not certain if that's always going to be the best, but like for Damien 1 at least, it helps you pick off important models, I guess.
I can see it as a way of getting a guy into range of both Loth and Damien if they're standing next to each other. If your opponent kind of misplays.
I think kind of misplays is a bit of a stretch, I think, when you've got, 10 inches on Damien, and then you get to push something its move to get into range? I don't know. Like 16 inches from whatever central spot you've set Damien up. It's a long range.
Yeah, I meant more of just like kind of either being able to be moved or, I don't know. Yeah. It's an interesting one or way to do it. I just view that, especially with the current Arcanist, the value of this drops a lot.
That's quite possible, but figured we should bring it up.
Yeah. And Goodman will just stay silent.
Yeah, it seems like he has a fairly overloaded kit, but that does seem like the most exciting thing you can do is walk up and grab someone unless you're false claiming. So I definitely feel like that's where most of the value on his card is. Nothing
Yeah.
else on this card is
I think
particularly
Clog really
exciting.
likes the expert thief on this guy to just steal stones. Their meta is weird and likes
Yeah.
that action a lot.
I was
But
gonna
I guess
say,
they just have way too many henchmen.
yeah, if
Oh,
you're
turning
one
off
on
bonus
expert thief, you have
actions,
that.
I forgot, is sometimes just like hilariously powerful.
Yeah, that's good
in
tech.
certain matchups. So just remember when it is broken that maybe you should bring this guy. But then again, who knows? Saboteurs. I'll just put a 1-star.
Saboteurs are Saboteurs? Those aren't part of Burns.
Yeah,
Those are they're an old model.
why has this come up?
I think you're gonna say 5 stars.
I think you need to
No.
back up to Watchman as opposed to generic versatile. I think Witness
It's Witness
No
and
witnesses,
Witness
trigger.
hilariously because they have what ability
The
is
trigger. No
yeah,
witnesses.
the trigger no witnesses is why it came up.
Ah, okay.
So
Gotcha.
Dabbler.
Not a Witness model.
I'll put 4 stars on Dabblers. Wait, do I put 5 stars on Dabblers? You know what? Screw it. I'll put 5 stars on Dabblers. Mainly just because Damien 1, they're by far just needed. Them, slap Arcane Reservoir onto them because you don't have it built onto your card like 2 does, and they add 2 cards minimum to your Wit config. Sometimes they just add obscene amount of cards to your config. It's pretty funny what unexpected outcome will let you do. But yeah, also adds it from the top of your discard pile, which can allow you to do some decently silly things, but is a little hard to control because you generally have to, fail a flip, which gets rid of whatever's the top of your discard pile.
Yeah, what's the other silly thing you can do with that? That seems like the best
Because you
thing
can
to
rig
do.
the top of your deck a little bit in Witness, especially with Marco, so you can actually know like what some upcoming things are. I don't know. It's not that relevant, but
Yeah, having to fail the duel first seems like a big restriction on how crazy you can get with that.
it does. On the plus side, though, you generally just, go up a lot in your config and never really care. These guys are generally hard to kill, just because they can stay so far back and they're very movable, movable, sure, with their bonus action. I don't know. They're kind of just needed, I think, in the crew, at least in 1. 2, you generally would rather have gamers over them, but sometimes gamers just die a little bit more. So you never
Yeah,
know.
no, I haven't really seen these guys on the table very much. Like,
Maybe I'll
they
go
do
4
seem
star
in
just
theory
because
really good
they're,
for just loading up your config.
which I think is going to become more important, because you're going to be hiring outside of Witness a bit more in 1, and loading up your config is pretty important.
I think the one thing that stands out to me is kind of humorous is that these are like the one shockwave I think came out of Burns that's still a shockwave 1. I think almost every other shockwave that got released, not Burns, sorry, Madness, this new expansion. I think it's the only shockwave I've seen from the new set that's still shockwave 1.
Oh,
And
right. The
almost all the other
shockwave
ones
is
are
how
shockwave 2.
the shockwave, by the way, is how you can kind of know what to do for unexpected outcome. I knew there was another way of doing it. It's on their card.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just get to look at 3 cards and you can just math out how to add a really good one to the top of your to the top of your discard to draw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to our next target. The gamers. I'm just gonna put a 5 on these guys. They're kind of cracked. I think they're underplayed in Damien 1 just a little bit. But realistically, they're just the powerhouse of Damien 2. They have House of Soul, which is going to be super important to try to get multiple different scheme markers up and running, or scheme markers, different suits up and running in your config. And Damien 2 generally needs to keep them in their config longer just because you want to have multiple suits for his activations at the start of rounds. So generally you're going to be going with him early round 2, you're going to be going early with him round 3, and you need to be either keep the ram so he has more survivability with healing, keep the crows so you can just, injure stack immediately, and or keep the tones and then maybe stone for the crows in order to start super injure stacking. And while doing that, they're, being able to heal someone with a range like 11 with their bonus action with no TN flip, and a good chunk of the time they'll just attack their own friendly guys with Drain, trying to either flip a crow or have it built in and just draw cards from your config. It's disgusting.
Yeah, they seem like quite good models. Just the heal with no flip on a 4-stone model is already like, fine.
I don't like these guys.
Yep, that's why they're good models. Being size 1 too is just so nice for hiding around the map.
And the fact they can get a shielded.
Yeah, they're size 1. Why are these things size 1?
I don't know.
It's not even ever a downside for them because in 2 you're just arcing through Damien anyways, so like you're not losing much line of sight. I don't know. I hate it.
Oh, did they ever FAQ what size you use when you arc, or are we still kind of just ruling that ourselves?
Honestly, I've never thought about that. Are you not supposed to just use the size of whatever you're arcing through?
I think that's a general rules Vassals has decided to use, but there's nothing. I feel like if I remember getting into arguments about this with people, there's nothing like concrete about it. Nothing says that when you arc through someone, you use that model for line of sight or for height.
Well, if you've got concrete evidence of that in the chat, just let us know so we can have that sorted. But yeah, I don't guess I have a very strong opinion on it either.
Yeah. It comes up a lot with Damien, especially if you arc through the height 3 golem. If you can see things that you wouldn't normally be able to see.
4? I thought
it's height 4.
Was a size 4.
I'll double check.
We just had the card on the screen. It shouldn't be that hard for us to figure this one out.
Yeah, it is size 4. So it's super able to see things. So it's
I was frustrated trying to pick that up with a wind golem the other day. That's why it was fresh in my mind.
Yeah. It normally doesn't come up that much, but when it's relevant, it's really nice for his gun, obviously, to just be able to see people over other people and just be like, I am now next to you. So, all right, onwards to the totem. I'm not really sure how to rate totems. I'll just rate it at how good they are with regards to the fact that they have to be hired. And this is one of the best totems in the game, so 5 stars. Yeah, you just can fast, Mia, you can fast Marco, you can fast pretty much anyone you want. And
we lost Goodman, but we have Brian to replace him. Hi, Brian.
We did lose Goodman. I assume he's dipping back in soon, but
yeah, we'll see.
Feel free to just talk whenever you want to talk.
Okay. First thing, there is nothing wrong with anything in this keyword. They are exactly mid-tier in the road. Nothing needs to get changed.
All right, and I muted Brian. So what we're going to talk about is the fact that this fast models
and let's look at this totem.
All right, and we're going to let him keep rambling for a little bit. Yeah, the totem obviously is broken.
Wow. I had a whole bit planned about you look at this totem, 4 defense trash, but it fasts things. That's not crazy good. And then it gives them focus, probably.
Not even the best part of this totem.
Oh, I know, but I'm going to start there.
Also, it doesn't also give them focus. It either gives fast or gives focus. 4/6, which is pretty disgusting. As we talked about, you're probably fasting Marco. I like to think, at least in Damien 2. Damien 1, yeah, maybe you fast Ledger, do that stuff. A good chunk of the time, you're actually focusing Damien. That's probably not going to be true anymore, just because you have better models to give focus to. So now will actually be using this for fast more. Dabblers are fine to fast. Anyone in the crew is fine to fast. It's
question.
Yes.
Because I legitimately don't know the answer on this. The box opens. Can I House of Soul that?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Can you House of Soul?
You mean the arc for Damien, right?
Yeah. So,
yes, 100%.
Yeah, you can totally arc
with
that.
Just making sure. So you could just pulse out 2 damage and stunned from much inches away for no fucking reason. Cool.
Yeah, I mean it takes a 10, so it makes it balanced, Brian. Like everything else in this expansion, this one has a TN.
Unlike its actual main action, which is rework the
Right.
configuration, which has no TN. You just do it. And
yeah.
you get to just, Damien 2 it's really important because you get to take cards out, but a lot of the time it's just really nice to just start moving your models around with the mask.
And then
Making
you just
people
get
take a lot of willpower duels with the crow is
thing-
sometimes just funny as
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, I think I took
Just-
4 damage off that in our last game.
I just added 3 crows and I arc through and it'll just be like, all right, that guy, just take 3 TN 11 willpower duels after I already have like injured 3 on you.
Like,
Yeah, that seems good.
I was trying to explain to a friend of mine who doesn't play Malifaux, like the effect Damien has like caused in this game, and he's never played it, right? So Malifaux, he has no idea. He just like knows general like gaming, board gaming, like gaming ideas, right? And I'm explaining all this shit. He's like, how did that get released? I'm like, that's the question.
I legitimately think Damien is fine now that Madness is out. That does say that Madness's power level brought most of the other crews up, but the particular way to beat Damien is now more prevalent, I think, and therefore he'll be more actually acceptable.
Manageable.
But yeah, he was probably the worst one to pre-release. You should have pre-released a 10 Thunders person because that person's never seeing play. We'll get to that.
But it's cool.
It is cool, super cool.
Oh.
We did miss out on the one other witness model because I had it to just being Arcanist, and let's just quickly tab the 10 Thunders so I don't have to just type
You should just
in.
like sort this by keyword and then scroll through the keyword models.
That's what I just did,
exactly
but
work.
the problem with Witness is it doesn't work. 4 stars for Mia. Really cracked in Damien 2. Arcing through with Jinx is just kind of ridiculous. Drawing your best cards kind of ridiculous. Breaking the top 2 cards of your deck is pretty ridiculous, especially because you can do that first and then draw a card. With Jinx or any other things or however the hell you want. It's just so much card draw in a 6 Soulstone bottle. It's just insane. And a range 18 Jinx
is really good, but it's only stat 5, so it's bad. No, it's insane. Like, it's a 6-stone minion that does like great things.
Yes. I will say this, a lot of people think, oh, yeah, it's stat 5. You're not actually going to be able to search draw a card an awful lot. Well, you're Damien 2 and you want cards in Damien 2. Well, one of the things Mia does that's really nice is she gives all of your units shielded. Whenever you add a card to config, your totem adds 3 cards to the config by doing nothing and gets 3 shielded, and has armor. You can just shoot your totem, and unless you're accidentally severing, you're not doing any damage, and you can just search draw a card.
Yep.
So just casual draw 2. Maybe you fasted this person, so draw 3.
And she can just for free put a tome from her discard into the config as well.
Yeah.
Am I reading
your
that right?
best card from your best tome in your discard.
Right. Seems okay.
Yeah. Only reason of 4 is you're probably not taking her in Damien 1 much at all, because the range actually is kind of a problem, and the card draw isn't as relevant in that crew because you can cheat from your config. So it's just easier to just have like dabblers add cards to the config and also maybe do a couple other things instead of just dying like Mia can. That being said, still love her. I still love her. She's great. 6 Soulstones. Come on, guys.
Movement 4. She's so slow. Oh no.
All right. And that is all of Damien. So we're going to move on to.
Gotta say,
it's not called Clockwork. What is it? What is the new models called?
It's Watchmen, I think.
Watchmen, yeah. Watchmen. Yeah. I'm glad I came in late and I missed the Damien stuff because it just makes me sad.
It should make you sad.
Well, honestly, Damien, not the bigger problem in Arcanist anymore. This guy is now the biggest problem in Arcanist.
But Damien's one of the biggest problems for the game, so...
I disagree, especially right now, but we'll get to that.
I don't know if I agree with that, but that's... I think he could be. I'm on Brian's side so far.
He's definitely annoying in how much he can ignore. I think taking away some of those abilities is perfectly good. But yeah. Yeah, we'll just move on from that's a topic for another time. Right now, let's just discuss how 5-star Harrison Frucham
All right,
is.
here we go. Pre-nerf archivist right here.
I don't understand how Arcanist got this model. So the reason we're talking this up so much is because we're addicted to pass tokens in this year part of the pond, and I think rightfully so. Pass tokens are kind of the most busted thing. They allow chain activations at the end of turn 1 in particular, which is particularly cracked for alphas. And you're thinking, oh, but what alphas really are there? You're just going to be playing Damien 2. He's kind of the best, and he doesn't really need that. Well, nah.
Well,
While you
Yeah,
probably aren't hiring this guy in Damien 2,
why,
Damien
you
2
could if
does.
you wanted.
You could if you wanted. I've definitely you're going to see him a ton in Damien 1. I think he'll probably just be auto included in Damien 1. The best way to beat Damien 2 was just to have pass token generation multiple turns in a row. Just beat the shit out of Damien. Can't do that anymore because they'll just play Damien 1 and have their own pass token generators. And that's just the pass tokens by himself. This 8-cost little guy does a bunch of other things, which
Way
is
too many other things, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot on this card, like a lot.
Yeah.
So just ignore his actual like actions, right? Just the front of his card. So generates pass token. Awesome, always good. I think that's a fair statement. Innocent bystander is like fine, whatever. It's defensive, blah blah blah.
Annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah, that's great. It's the chronoism.
Isochronoism.
Yes,
I assume.
just like you
Is
get
it
to
chrono?
copy conditions you add. Oh, I gained focus. Here, you gain focus, friend.
Yeah,
Focus
that's
is
going to be
good.
particularly cracked for Damien 1. Because now you're not using the totem. Totem can now fast other people. This guy just casually takes a
Copies it.
focus action and gives it to Damien.
Yep.
And then focuses him again with his bonus. Focus 2. Now
Yep.
I have another AP. Like,
No, the only get focus if
has
it's
to
a
be
watchman.
But
Oh,
you're
you're right, I'm
probably
sorry.
bringing in
You're
one
just
of the minions.
spoiler.
So
Yeah, you bring the minion as the second focus.
First to speak is like reverse manipulative, which is kind of cool. Honestly, I like the idea there, like the mechanic. Kyle and I talked about this. Like it's a cool thing they're bringing in, like kind of flipping a lot of these abilities. Just like as a
Yeah,
design
encouragement
space.
to go first versus encouragement to go last, and maybe having both in the crew enables you to actually play around that.
Exactly. That's a cool way to do it. And then time moves forward, just like end slow somewhere is good, because like a good way to like mitigate the enemy models is to like if you can't kill it, you put slow on them, right? So then they can't, hit you as hard or do their thing. This guy just removes it automatically anywhere in range. Just no condition, just it.
Yeah,
ends slow.
it probably won't come up too much for slow on the rest of your crew, just because you are kind of really incentivized to go over this. But it also means you can never slow this guy. He'll just remove it from himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of slow, his attack just gives slow, and also has the old Tara thing, or current Tara also has it. One of them, I think, or you just do damage per turn.
It's
someone has it in that crew,
it's
right?
the henchman.
Aeonius.
Aeonius, yeah.
Yeah, Tara used to have it. Aeonius has it in 3. Now this guy has it. He's a henchman because they can stone for it. So the turn 4, turn 5 beats are actually not small.
Yeah, even turn 3, like take 3 damage and slow. That's
pretty nasty.
Yeah, even two, like I think 2 damage and slow is probably fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, just accidentally getting 1 damage and slow is not bad.
Yeah,
if you just
like,
flip the ram. You're probably not stoning for it at that point, but
you just like, oh, I flipped an 11 of rams. You're slow now and take a damage.
But that's like the
fine.
Honestly, fine, pretty irrelevant. Spycraft is just.
Yes.
I don't know why they printed this, but it's really great. It arcs through other Watchmen models, which you're probably hiring the minion. Most time you're hiring this guy, not always, but a decent chunk of the time. And for some reason they just said discard a card or a pass token on it, which if you don't have pass tokens means it just discards a card from your opponent's hand. And to be frank, if you do have pass tokens, you probably really don't want to get
Discard
rid
the
of them
cards.
against crews that hire this
Yep.
model.
Yep.
Yeah, this action's so dumb, especially since you get the free focus or whatever. But mostly it's just like we already did this once. Weird. We had the archivist who just drew you a bunch of cards incidentally with his gun that ignored everything, but he
Yep.
didn't even ignore concealment. This guy ignores concealment and can arc it. Like, I don't know. I'm mad. And then he also just makes schemes for no reason on it. Like,
Yep.
Draw Out Secrets is so ridiculously versatile of like a trigger for the late game and scoring.
And on a ranged piece.
It is enemy only.
No.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
the
The
attack.
Yeah.
is, but still.
Draw Secrets. I got you. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This model does so many things. I find it hard to recommend when people take him other than always, because like there's not just one thing you take him for.
I think the only
Mhm.
person who doesn't take him is literally Damien too, just because he's so hard set on his own keyword that you just don't want to afford 8 soul stones out of keyword. But you might.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about his best abilities. The best part of his card are his tactical actions. A setup / alpha piece token that you're hiring in these kind of crews just has a nice push 5 ability. The trigger is probably completely pointless because you're never hiring the other thing, but we'll get to that. But it's just a pretty decent push. I mean, we don't really
I think the Enforcer is not bad. I think
Yeah.
we might find a way to hire him.
maybe.
Like,
I'd be
like,
surprised.
It might not be like pure optimal min-maxed.
Oh,
It's
sure.
like a good like it's just a good, reliable model.
I mean, we'll talk
And-
about that when we review
Yeah.
him. I think
Yeah.
we just got to keep in mind that you can swap this guy and the other guy
It's
if you
the
hit the trigger.
Seamus thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
totem thing.
he just has a 1/2/3 heal flip. It is only range 2, but TN 6, so decent TN. Does have the extra supplies, so it can be a 2/3/4 heal flip. If it hits a wash model, they instead gain focus. That's fine. I don't think that matters at all, but it means you don't have to
It's-
necessarily take the concentrate action on a
Right,
different guy to
yeah.
get focus on 2 people. But so turn 1, it'll be
Fancy
pretty
mouse
nice to just
motivation.
like save an AP on, use a bonus on this guy to save an AP on the minion. But the rest of the time it's just a cracked healing ability, so whatever.
Healing is okay when you have shielded and armor and stones to prevent in your entire crew.
Yeah.
So like,
So the main
So-
reason I think this guy's broken is broken, I guess, is a strong term. Why I actually really like this guy, and I don't think the back of his card's kind of messed up, but I think having Pass Token Generation and Arcanist is important for the current meta on how powerful it is. It does enable, I think, a couple of different plays, which is going to be Huffman Once coming back a bit because he can now alpha late game Peacekeeper better without it just being murked, which was what happened before. Now you can also go in with Karis last activation really consistently against almost any crew in the game, and that's insane because it just does 5 damage to anybody within 4 inches, 3 inches.
3. I think it's 3.
Once you got Burning 15 stacked on it, which not hard to get actually. And then it actually makes Raspy potentially decent. I'll say decent just because I always
It's
get too
Raspy.
high hopes and it's Raspy, but one of her problems was, interacting with her crew, which is kind of frail, before she gets off a lot of really nice damage that she has. Ice Golem is arguably one of the biggest and best beaters in the crew. You double focus that guy, send him forward. He's mid 4, and he can murder a lot of things.
Mhm.
So we'll see if it helps Raspy at all. But I think it might. The biggest thing is it's going to make Karis an easy tier 1, maybe tier 0 threat.
Mhm. I think that like what other factions have versatile pass token generation? That's
None.
like Outcast
No.
have Hans. I'll put that one there.
Oh,
but
sure. Does Hans even count?
No.
Hans even a model?
That's where I'm going with this. Is if this was like a keyworded model, it's still like a problem, but at least the rest of Arcanists have to like get taxed to do it. And this is just like you just get like a good mod, like an innately good model that like if you took away the pass token thing on this card, are you still hiring it? Not all the time, but like, is it still a commonly hired model?
Hell yeah. It's got that
Yeah.
refocus handout stuff.
Exactly.
Nah,
So-
We already did
I
that.
no,
We didn't iron very often.
I wouldn't. As the Arcanist
It's-
player, I'm going to put my foot down. Without the pass token generation,
Yeah.
I actually don't think so. Hoffman has toolkit to get focus. The only one who really, Damien has his own crew to get focus, the Iron Golem, or Soulstone Golem. And the other big model, the only big one you kind of want focus on that wasn't already getting it was Karis. But without the guarantee to go last, you're still kind of like meh on Karis.
It's a
Fairly
recipe
certain
as
that
well.
Ironsides would still like it in Raspy.
Yeah,
do not
and
really
like
like
the
having
gathered
focus.
intel to do the push, it sets up your alpha.
Yeah, I don't think Raspy cares too. Raspy likes having focus, but I don't think it's gonna.
She does blasts and slows
Yeah.
more relevantly
Yeah.
now, I think.
But she also it sucks. But yeah, whatever. It's kind of nice for Raspy just for giving focus, but I mean, okay, realistically, you don't take it because the minions exist. So you would never take it over
Sure.
taking the minions.
Okay.
It's literally the
Yeah.
minions have to not exist and the pass token generation has to not exist to take it because it's essentially just a focus bot at that point. And 8 soul stones is a lot, so even Raspy's probably the one who needs it the most, but it doesn't feel good and you're playing Raspy. The only one I think that's like quasi competitive that would maybe hire it is Damien 1. Having a bonus for a bigger heal plus the focus might make it viable there, maybe, but I still don't like it. Because it's 2 golems, which also just heal too.
Yeah,
without
I
a
think
flip.
it's most of the pass tokens. And just imagining all the things I already was able to do with Hoffman 1, now just always having last activation to do it is just so gross.
Sometimes 2 activations in a row, and sometimes more.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. Because there are other pass token generating. I really do think that Arcanist needed the pass token generating. Did it need to be on a card this good? No. It easily could lose most of the back of its card and still be a really good model.
I think I couldn't disagree more on that point.
Oh, really? You don't think Ace Soul Stone's worth just the facts
No, I
or
don't
the
think the
focus and pass?
Arcanists needed pass token generation.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what the meta ends up looking like. But I think maybe I'm just greedy because I don't like soloing a master, so I like having a faction that has multiple top tier competitive crews. And other factions don't really even have one necessarily, so maybe I'm just super greedy wanting that. But I think in order to be top tier competitive, Arcanist needed pass tokens, unless you just wanted to see only Damien played.
I mean, I think Hoffman was already fine to
Hoff
play.
2's gone. Hoff 1 is still fine, just not top tier, in my opinion. But let's different argument, different time. Harrison J5. I don't know. I'm actually really not the biggest fan of this guy.
I like this model. And I'll say my piece. Kyle and I, this is one I talked about with Kyle. So first off, just has some nice stuff. Like extended reach is a nice tech ability. If you're worried about an alpha or that type of thing, it can help you prevent that. It will draw you. It should draw you at least 1 card, probably 2, maybe 3, because of the activating within 6 of a master or henchman. That's good. And then if you're doing the duo with Harrison, you get to move them 3 inches. That doesn't really matter, but the draw card is going to be nice. The pendulum swing, blasting on a 2/3/5 with pretty easy access to
focus.
Thank you, is really nice. And that meteor hammer trigger to place the blast within 4 inches of Harris. Like, so I keep them for 5, blast for 3 somewhere else, not the model I hit. Like, we saw that in second ed with Misaki and how great that was. And granted, this is much shorter range. It's not 14 inches like it was with her, but like,
it's still like anything within 6 you can just nuke for 3 if you have something to hit.
Exactly. And it's built in, so you don't have to work for it. You just need to like cheat the cards to hit. But if you're doing it, it's gonna be worth it. And then that's just good. And then it has construct field repairs to heal your constructs. So like in a, let's say Hoffman, maybe if you want, I'm not saying you need extra healing, but like if you wanted it, it's there. or he gets a third action with Unwind to end he has distracted. I'll remove it and take an action. That's really good. You could give him distracted yourself, and then he gets a third action to do things and stuff on. So, like, yeah, he's not an insane model. Like, in no way is he gonna break the meta. But, like, he's just a solid, reliable 7-stone model, which is really what should be in the starter kit, like, just in general. And he does really interesting things if you want him to.
Yeah, and I think I've already stated elsewhere that I think On the Move is already one of the best abilities in the game because it does so many things for you.
Yes.
And if you want to do the package, it kind of gets that. But
I don't
overwhelming
think you're ever hiring him without hiring Frodzum, which is kind of where I'm thinking about it.
I think field repairs.
I can see him independent, but yeah,
Really?
probably.
I cannot. A set 5 is a pretty huge hampering.
Overwhelming intricacy just moves your whole crew 2 inches sometimes, kind of.
I mean, and gives them
and field repairs
distracted.
heals himself.
Oh,
no,
right, it doesn't
or.
have to. Right, it is an or.
Not
And-
sometimes. You're allowed to relent to that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also,
exactly. I
yeah,
was
the
just
friendly
gonna say, you
watchman
can choose
relenting
to
doesn't
fail.
doesn't mean anything anymore because
Yeah,
everyone can
which
choose
is
to.
weird that they released like in a this is a big picture.
Well, the
thing.
starter box was just made way before the new rules for
Yeah.
the new book was made.
Right.
It's just because these were tested way before the Madness came out.
Yeah, which feels like they shouldn't have waited on the starter sets, but that's a whole different discussion.
But it's like compare
I think
Overwhelming Intricacy
COVID
to
problems
Entourage.
probably.
Oh yes, yeah.
There's going to be some comparison. And it's just, I don't know, it disengages your crew if you need to. It's just
You
a
can do
reasonably
it
good
twice.
action. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still a pretty hefty cost to get all that off, but or of 7 soul stones. I'm saying I just don't really know how many crews it slots into. Yeah.
I mean, right. Is it perfectly optimal? Probably not. Is it still reliably good? Yes. So like I guess
3 stars is what I'm hearing then.
Like, if I guess the question is, are we looking at these as is it going to always, if a model is always going to fit into like the best crew possible, then yeah, it's bad. But if it's just like, is this a good model to bring into like a solid crew that could win? It's a fine model.
I kind of agree. If you know, especially if you do know you're against people who are running defense 5, defense 4 models, its value does go up a lot. The stat 5 I'm not the biggest fan of.
Sure.
Yeah,
also 2-inch reach. Let's not forget.
Yeah, with extended reach, which
Wait,
is a good rule.
yeah.
Right. And just pick your targets. Like stat 5 is bad, yeah, but don't attack stat 6 things. Like be smart.
And obviously you can
Hammer.
hire it in crews like
Mod.
Paris 1 who just have a lot of injured out there. So
Right.
I can see it.
Or burning, yeah. And I think the scheme's a reasonable amount of the time that you hire it because it has the 3-inch I did walk away from things. So
Yep.
bonus action, general action. It's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that you can attack him with what's his name to give him the henchman to give him slow to then give other models slow. It's just kind of funny. You can do that with this crew. It's just handing out the negative conditions to your enemies.
And then you unwind and take another action with your slow because it's just fast.
Yep. No, it's pretty funny that they work that way.
I hadn't even thought of the Chronism like as an aggressive tool to just like, hey, fuck you.
That's why you get distracted with the intricacy.
Yeah.
Walk over Karis burning pits to just hand out a burning.
Right,
on your way.
exactly. So like I was only thinking of it as like a focus engine for your own models. And then you add in the utility of like, hey, I'll give my opponent I'm engaged with slow, and they're at 2 inches from me. So now they have to they can't attack me.
Yeah, you're obviously using an AP, but it is pretty nice. So yeah, 3 stars I think is actually pretty good. As you pointed out, he's good, but he's probably not the hyper competitive optimal choice.
Yeah, so that's my piece on him.
Gearling, he's just
they're
insane.
so cute.
I'll give him a 5-star immediately. I think a lot of the time you're hiring Fardstram, you're hiring this guy. they just do everything, and I'm not sure why. So watch chain is really nice because you can move this model around while also sometimes getting a pass token with the 6 of max. 6 of max is a decent ask for a pass token, but is
worth
one
it.
you would almost always pay. So there's that. But he does the same give focus thing. This guy also just gets an obscene amount of shielded potential, and he has armor, so that's a lot. His defensive trigger is just one of the more broken in the game I've ever seen, but at least you have to win the duel in order for it to go off. But yeah, other than that, what?
This model is so cracked.
Yeah,
like
the fact
just
that
a 3 AP versatile schemer for what 5 that gets
5.
armor and shielded. Or
and
what-
size
Well,
1, so you
sometimes-
can never see the fucker.
Sometimes get shielded.
Yeah, when people swing on you and miss, or
Yeah,
you get
well-
pushed by, the enforcer we just pointed
Yeah.
out,
Or you
Also,
attack
it-
your own guy and then you
Yep.
know win the defense duel because you actually just flip
Because
it.
you relent.
Because
Oh yeah.
you can't relent the
al-
attack. That would be hilarious. But no,
Right,
you
yeah.
do actually have to win the flip.
You have to cheat. Yeah, you have to cheat it around. Also, it ignores terrain, so it's like it's moving 5, but it's really good at scheming.
Yeah, like of the
Um,
3 Watchmen models we just looked at, I honestly think these are the most ridiculous of the 3, and that's saying something with Fraud Sam.
It really does bother me
Yeah.
that like if you look at this model and you're like, oh, this is really good, but at least he can't really get out of engagement to scheme. You're like, oh wait, no, watch chain. Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
They really gave this guy just
weird.
a way out of engagement, huh? All right.
And you can just walk through the terrain you push next to. It's
And the
pretty good.
model. It's like, oh, you body blocked me with the model. Nope. No, can't do that. So
well, it's because like Arcanist didn't have like good competitive models, so they had to make sure they gave them like something that was
what was Arcanist's best schemer? I was pretty much like Hoff's Totem, right?
Like,
low soul
you
stone
had,
schemers.
like,
Colette.
you had your Discount the Damned with the Blessed. You
Yeah.
had Colette in general.
just that.
That's
some
true.
peop-
Just like
Yeah.
Colette as a general idea.
I was
Fire
saying like
starter?
low. I was thinking though like low soul stones.
Cerberus?
What were you
Oh,
hiring
Molman.
before? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Molman
Molman.
would do it great too. Huh?
Now Molman, Cerberus, if you wanted to do it like that.
No, we're talking
Sure.
cheap stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
we
the
want actual
bird.
cheap
Bunch
things.
of birds now.
that's technically an Explorer's model, but if you're
Yeah.
Marcus, yeah, you got birds.
Yeah.
I don't know. What were you hiring for this before?
Realistically, it was like
Or,
toolkit
elite
and then the
schemer.
fucking off totem.
Token's
okay.
insignificant.
The Mech Rider.
Oh, sorry, it was the mech, the healing bot.
Mech attendant. Yeah.
Automaton. Automaton. What else?
It was usually Mech Rider and Blessed if you needed to do that kind
Yeah,
of
like
thing. I feel
realistically, before you actually did have to pay a lot. Now you just get the guy who turn 1 can generate you
Or
pass tokens,
Now,
and then later turns is just stupidly maneuverable.
the Marcus's acolyte guy who just auto attaches.
Oh yeah, those guys are pretty decent schemers.
They're 6, and they're 6. Well, 7 on a keyword, but like you just give them whatever upgrade they need to like live, and then they scheme.
I don't know. They're
It's
two
really
AP models. I don't think I agree with this assessment. But they
Yeah,
work.
now you have a nice, good 3 AP
Oh,
model.
yeah, like
Everything's perfect.
Yeah, this guy's fucking dumb.
All right,
Moving on.
that does it for arcs. Now we have to do Filthy Bayous next. The
Okay,
Clampets.
so-
All right, Bayou's a faction that doesn't exist. We skip it. We're done.
Yeah,
I
just
was
go
gonna
to
say,
talk
we
to Sam
like
about this.
this is gonna take a super long time to do everything.
We're
So you could just skip this, and it
we're
would
not
be
we're
in
not just
character.
skipping this. It's going to
Ah,
go really. We're just going to do it really quick though. Rapid fire. Clampets. This guy, I
Alright,
give 4
cool.
stars. Clampet. This guy, I also give 4 stars. Easy. Please disagree with me whenever you feel like it. Uncle Bog.
I like haven't looked
Are
at
these even
models
hitting
yet.
the screen?
Yeah,
they
they are.
are. I have it open.
Uncle Bog. 4 stars. Aunt Mel. Probably 5
He seems
stars.
good.
Yeah.
Cervantes, he rides a
6.
snail. I really want to give him, like 6 stars.
Yeah,
Plus, by the
he
way,
looks
he's
like
just
8
kind of
stars,
insane.
okay?
Yeah, this model's pretty fucking insane.
He has escargot in his rules text. You can't give it
Yeah.
less than 6 stars.
Also,
Yeah,
just
no,
sat
that-
7 and like min 3, like a good chunk
At
of the time.
least we got
It's so
weird
fucking
to
dumb.
errata stealth FAQ, Cantori, and other things with his shell shock trigger. So it's only 1 damage, even though the Filthy Spear is supposed to make it do an extra 1. It only does 1.
Ah, there you go.
Right. What?
Oh, did you miss that part?
Yeah.
They did that in the FAQ.
Yeah, the
So-
FAQ. So it no longer carries over to the. It's only the charge attack, no other generated attacks.
To the triggers?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially they
One of
said
those
that they
confusing
want you to
pieces.
read it as, target suffers 3, 4, 5, and not 2, 3, 4 plus 1 for anything that does damage on here.
Yeah.
Oh.
They give an example.
Okay, did I missed that at some
Yeah.
point or forgot? I don't
That's
know.
why I wanted to point it out.
But
Okay, but yeah,
legitimately,
I-
this guy's cracked.
Yeah, hey, just escargot. That I don't not the ability, the name.
This
So
guy,
this-
I'll give 3 stars. Hermits,
Yes, Argo.
they're inside a conch shell. It's fine. But whatever.
I will say, completely ignoring any design mechanic, blah blah blah, they fucking nailed the puns and the
Nailed,
art.
you one might say.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
moving on. I hate
Yeah,
this
we gotta move
faction.
on. This is-
Buckaroo, 2 stars. I don't like it that
what?
much.
No. Buckaroo's like discount McCabe. He gets to make you take 3 duels in a turn to not die. I like these guys.
Okay,
I
I think
fine.
they're really.
Legitimately, yeah.
Are they? Sure. I guess rear up. They have no way of building it in though, right?
It's not rear up. It's the fact that they have trample and a bonus action to move.
Oh,
So
sure.
If you just like charge onward, do whatever the fuck else you want with your AP, you've
Yep.
already forced 2 duels.
I guess.
And
Okay.
then you just drain out the opponent's hand.
Sure. Well, I'll go up to 3 or
Also,
4
stat
stars.
6 with Butterfly and 7 wounds and movement 6. They're just good schemers. Like, you want to yeet these guys around the board.
They just
with 3
die.
AP. Sure, but it takes time.
Not much.
7 wounds.
7
for 6
wounds,
stones with
stat
butterfly
5/5 really doesn't mean too much anymore. I legitimately think.
Okay, I mean, I suppose that's fair. But Butterfly jump the plus flips because of the tide thingies.
Yeah, I think they take more
They're
actions
gonna
to get rid of.
plus for tides, but I just
and
wanted to point
one.
out that Make Way's a really dumb ability, and they got rid of it on stuff for a reason.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
okay.
literally, Peacekeeper one-shots these guys,
they
and that's
keep
fucking
this-
hilarious.
They keep repeating the mistakes they've already done. That's like their MO at this point. So,
No, not mistakes. Design space.
All right, I think
Yeah,
the fact that it dies to Peacekeeper means I don't care about them.
but like,
Oh man, dies to
How-
Doomblade.
Dies to
How many
Doomblade.
of
Yep.
how many other things die to Peacekeeper though? A lot
Not
of
that
them,
many.
especially-
At least
At
not in
6
one attack.
stones? Yes.
All right, moving on.
It's fucking stones.
Judd and Honey, another cool-looking model. They really did nail the look of this crew, by the way. It's
Yeah.
one of the coolest. 3 stars.
Cavalier model also. So putting it in context of Cavalier might be higher because Cavalier does things.
Yeah, maybe. Shulker
So, 3.5.
skin. 1 star.
Big.
Sold him from Minecraft. God damn it. Oh, that's Shulker. That's what I said out loud. All right.
Joker? Yeah, no, one for that as well on me, fam.
All
I
right.
don't even know what the Judd and Honey
They're
guy does.
snipery things. right?
Yeah, they're not relevant snipers. So I'm just gonna.
Undersea Toxins is good though. If you can.
I mean,
go
they're not actually 1 star, right? They do have the what do you call it? The Beneath the
the
Leaves. That's
move.
pretty OP.
Oh, and beneath the leaves. Yeah,
Yeah.
these things are great.
You get
Also,
to just
a
put that
bonus
and watch
action leap.
bucket. Like that's
All
crush.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever. They're.
They're
3
cheap. They're
stars.
Foxstone minions.
I
They
don't
sell.
care. None of these
Stuff is
stars make any sense. We don't know this faction. Bruce,
fair.
totem.
Oh.
I don't care. He's a totem that actually I think is pretty decent. I'll go 4 stars.
Latch on.
5 stars for cuteness.
Yeah, 5 stars for
I don't know if
cuteness. There you
cute Is
go.
the right word here, but sure.
You don't think that thing's cute?
Look
No,
at my
like
little
ugly
Eldritch
cute.
Horror
a bug.
abomination. Oh,
It's
he's so
an Eldritch
adorable.
Horror. Yeah, I don't think it's adorable.
All right, cool. That does it. We're done. Explorer Society. Woo!
And Outcasts.
And Outcasts. So, what's the name? It's just Bygone. I actually knew that.
Yep.
Bygone. I will include the Outcast tab for this, and let's just get right to it.
They're
Tyri,
so
number
cool.
1. Easy 5 stars. Probably one of the more broken masters in this game at the moment. Better than Damien because it kills Damien.
Does it kill Damien?
Yes.
It might actually, to be honest, depending on how well you stone.
Easily 1 rounds Damien 2. It can easily 1 round Damien 1 potentially. But yeah, stoning and Damien 1 and the shielded keeps it a little more survivable.
Yeah, I played against Iron Matron recently, and my experience of this guy's day 1 Tyri was really not good.
Sure.
I did not enjoy my time.
Mhm.
So the main thing this model does is it has off the pass and burnout, which is really good. to give a guy fast. And other than that, the rest of this card is just pretty good. The main thing you're really relying on for the setup for the alpha, which is going to be Iron Matron going in, is let bygones be bygones to just draw a bunch of cards. So you can get this crew easily can get like 6 card draws with off the path. You're looking at around potentially, I would say, average of 10 to 12 cards you're drawing into your hand. Some of those you'll be discarding with off the path. Other than that, its main other relevancy is after the alpha's done, Earthquake is just a really good attack.
Yep.
You don't have to care about cover. Concealment's the only thing you kind of care about. The crew does have a way of gaining focuses, so it's not the worst. She quite simply gives herself focus and draws a card.
For a 4.
Yeah. So
it seems good.
it's really
It's
easy
real
to get
dumb.
off, and you can also just heal your crew with the built-in tomes, which you'll have most of the time.
So
What if we just made like Guild Lawyer a master? I think that's what happened here.
A little bit, yeah.
Basically, important thing to call out that I think it's not going to come up until it like wins you a game, but the Mirage trigger on Off the Path has some really interesting like capabilities to you make your own model ignored for enemy schemes, which is really cool.
Yeah.
so, like-
it's really great for making sure like, oh, I'm not gonna have to deal with Vendetta.
Vendetta, Hidden Martyrs, like, yeah, you put that on Iron Matron when she's trying to murder something or like there's a couple
Secret
ones.
meetup, yeah.
Secret meetup, sabotage. No, not sabotage. Set the trap. A couple, like, there's 4 to 6 schemes, I think, that like if you can read it right and do the setup, you just deny them a point.
Yeah, and if the scheme markers things come up, you use the other trigger on distortion to just be like, all these scheme markers just don't matter.
Yeah. And that's one that you she gets to flip the ideal upgrade when she activates.
So you always can pick which one you need.
Right. And activation order for this crew, like once you're in the turn 1 probably won't matter, but like 3 and 3, 4, 5, it really is depending on like which type of the upgrades you want. Figuring that out is going to be very important.
Yeah, easily.
So activation order matters.
All right. Honestly, that's pretty much it for the master. Nothing that fascinating besides it flips the upgrade around. And I will just say real quickly, you know what? Let's show the upgrade. All it does is it picks which symbol is visible, meaning you can only use that trigger while that symbol is visible. And it just flips to the other symbol. That's all it is. Nothing, you don't really gain anything from it. It's just that. Thierry Architect, 3 stars. I almost want to say maybe lower, but honestly, the upgrades are actually kind of interesting, and I feel like it could be a lot better than I'm giving credit for. I just can't quite figure it out because I don't think the master's that good, and I don't think the crew works that well for long-term combat.
It's definitely less easy to like.
Does right? They're really durable.
Yeah, you can hire for it. I just don't know how comfortable I'm saying of how good that is yet.
I think Architect might be a little more focused for like within Outcasts, because like not knowing Explorers as well, Command Construct I feel works a little bit better in like out of keyword hires within Outcasts, because you get like Eric and Hannah would be like the 2 really big ones.
Rusty.
Right? Those 3. Rusty. And this crew doesn't have like a ton of like guns, so Rusty feels like a reasonable hire to bring in. So this might be a little more like techy, because the technology markers are like very tech based with like gravity well, or like you can't lower focus, or you can't do tech. I think tech marker.
You
Ancient
think it's
technology?
Just like, yeah, there we go. Just doing tech.
Lost technology. Yep.
So these are the upgrades. They're pretty interesting. All of them give unique effects based on the marker you created. We're not going to go over them in depth. I think Gravity Well is arguably one of the better ones.
The lift gate, I think, is
the fact that it's both of these is really good.
so it's always good, right?
Isn't it easier to
Regardless-
flip the card too in this crew? I'm trying to
I
remember
don't-
how they did it.
No, I don't think she can.
Totally has to be able to.
She has to be able to. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it.
Is it not when she activates?
No.
Lost structures. When she places the marker out on the tome, which should be built in. Oh, that's once per game. Oh,
Per game. Yes.
so she
only
can
get
flip it once, because I don't think the other models can flip it.
I don't think they can either.
No, they can't. It's only on her.
Okay, so for I didn't realize that. So for Architect, like you got to have a fucking game plan.
So it's a harder one for it to flip. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. You have to have the game plan. It's not hard because I mean, for the rest of her crew, it's a little tricky, which is why I was saying I think in Outcast it works better because they don't rely on that, part of the card at all. But you really do have to pick like which version of these upgrades do you actually need? Do you need Gravity Well more, or do you need to be able to ignore terrain more?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that you can't flip it very easily with this version of the crew. Otherwise, trying to like conceptualize what the fuck does that marker do every turn?
It's good quality of life that you have to. It's once.
I do love my favorite upgrade is the one Ephemeral Bearer on the Icon of Awe, which is you can't be unaffected by terrain anymore. So all the masters that have all like the fun tech that just get to ignore everything, you're like, no, your own traps now kind of screw you. So that's fun.
Yeah. And terrain markers can't be placed, so like that is some really interesting tech, like, counter tech features, which is, it might not be strong, but I think it's good for the game that this is like a thing, and it again like actual new design space that's not like game breaking, it's just interesting and unique is cool, and I like that.
So terrain markers are tech, and then anti-terrain markers is anti-tech, and then this is anti-tech.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Pirate's Cage is interesting.
It might be like really good.
Yeah, it might be really good, but I can also see it like never coming up.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I guess
it is nice that it's one of the ones that is affected by like which side things are on.
Right,
it just is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a really complicated master. At the moment, I'm going to put 3 stars. I think it's going to be very matchup dependent, and I think it's kind of nice for that because I think Tier 1's pretty bog standard, can use against most anyone. And then if you end up finding like a really good matchup for this tier, you can just take it. Also, by the way, weird fucking mad props to you. This crew looks amazing in my opinion.
Yes. I was gonna jump in one thing before we move to the models. Dredge Up is just like a good ability. Move a marker, and obviously you're making your markers. This is how you move them. Then you get to make the melee attack. Her Deconstruct, it's not great damage. 2/3/5 is like whatever, but it automatic until the end phase. The target cannot heal.
Yeah.
And then built-in Tome Trigger to take the action again, targeting from 2 inches off the target. So like this again is like hyper tech because like a Levy or Levy is like the biggest one I can think of.
Any demise master, any demise masters,
which ironically is a lot of Outcast models that Tiri, like I don't want to see Tiri against me now.
too, kind of.
We also got to point out though that it's not just 2/3/5. If you take like the Parson, it's 2/3/5 with a plus.
Yes.
Yeah. But we'll get there. But just like innate on its own, because you can make it up to 13-inch range with Dredge Up, theoretically. It does like you can like surprise, you can't heal, and then Matron plus flip murders something. Oh, your master's dead and you can't heal. Like it's really good.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's really easy for her defensive trigger is really nice, built in on defense, but they're on willpower as well. I think this model could be really good. I view it as very much a tech pick.
Complicated.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's way
complicated,
harder to
tech
make
pick,
work than
and
Nomad is.
for the hot take, it's
Mhm.
just going to take us a while to figure out if it's actually
Yeah.
good or not. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see this in competitive just because Nomad is so good, and if you have the right matchup to pick Architect into, you
Yep.
can just easily
Mhm.
make that switch.
And like people like playing really cool looking models, and these things look super cool.
Yeah, no, this is easily one of the things I'm gonna. If I'm not playing Arcs and abusing the hell out of Karis, I'll probably be playing Tiri.
Yep.
That's
Because you
not
put tech in there.
yeah. That's not what I want anymore. Onwards to the most broken new person kind of that we're gonna have to deal with a lot in Tiri.
Most-
So
Ebelami.
Oh, in Tiri.
yeah, Iron Matron, our big Iron Dom, really hard to kill because it's going to have a lot of shielded, it's going to have
Mhm.
armor 1, and it's going to have Cruel Disappointment, so you can only ever mod it.
Which is
So, because of that, it's decently hard to kill. It's a henchman, so stones as well. And in X's, you have Flush to Cash, obviously, to make it even more annoying. And then to top it all off, the basic alpha you're going to be seeing a lot of is Tiri 1's going to draw a bunch of cards. You're going to fast focus this guy. You're going to give it plus the damage flip, and it's going to go in with potentially double
Pass through.
focus, double focus, plus the damage from focus, plus the damage from the greatsword. So you're going to have a triple positive to damage.
Which means this thing's like min 5.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
Yeah,
pretty,
Max
pretty.
5, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah,
which
3, 4,
isn't the
5. He's
scariest
gonna just hit
in
the
the world.
5.
It's
Two
and you
and
either
so,
have
like-
you either have 4 attacks because your bonus action to be attack, or you're going to have pass through built in so that you're technically going to be min
taking
4,
all the damage.
max 6, which is really, really good, guys.
Yeah. I was trying to like math out which one was like, if you could objectively say which one's better, and I don't think you can, because like it's too situational depending on the board state. But like
You're
both
charging a lot on your first go in. So
right. I feel like in the beginning
okay.
pass through is better, and then later sudden aggression. But I don't know.
I don't think you're going to be charging a lot, mostly because the way I have it mathed out, and I think a decent amount of plays. Obviously, we're not rating him, so I'll just get to him right now. Jin Bakura is going to be taking this list basically always in the X's. So you're going to have pass tokens. So your last 2 activations can just be Tiri. The crew kind of moves forward a little bit. Tiri off the path, Iron Matron 3 times. And then you're literally can just be next to their opponent's crew.
Or in Outcast, just to flip it from that angle, you can give this Servant of Drucker powers to move it 6 inches, and then if you really want to go all in on this, the Emissary brings it up to movement 6, and then can move it like a little less than 3 inches.
I think
as well.
I think the more common thing, and the Emissary is definitely going to still play a part, is going to be giving it Companion, so you're able to go with Tiri off the path, get to that max range of 6, I think, for Companion. And then you will have to charge more often with Iron Matron.
Yeah. But that eliminates like having to have the pass tokens for because you just companion it. And the movement 6, you're not going to get the charge, but a double plus is like good enough. Or it's still a focus and the plus to damage flip anyway. So like the third one from like the Greatsword one is the one you don't actually care about when you play this model. It's nice if you get it, but it's not actually something you need to count on because you have 2 focus and the Parson, is that who does it?
Yes,
whatever.
Parson does it.
Yeah.
I will say as well, though, that we might be seeing, particularly in Outcasts, you might not necessarily do the Alpha with the Iron Matron just because people like Hannah have higher damage ranges.
Or Eric.
Hannah, or Eric, Rose, I think all slot into this about as effective.
Yeah, and the plus to damage is Bygone locked, so you're not going to have to deal with that at least. But from an aspect of throwing a fast model all the way into your face and just being able to go nuts with draw a decent amount of cards if you hire enough keyword is going to still be pretty big threat to deal with.
Also, if you're going Hannah, then you get Arcane Reservoir, so now you have the 7 cards to make the cycle like the draw cycle mechanic more reliable because you have to discard less cards, right? You don't have to worry so much about going over. So then like, oh, I drew a bunch of 10s, which like is still good enough to do a lot of what you need, and it gives you an extra room to mess with.
I would not be surprised if the outcast method is Hannah focus beats with companion that much. The only downside is that's a lot of out of keywords, so you're drawing a lot less cards. But you also don't need Parsons anymore. Although you probably do because you just slap it on the master. Plus the damage on that attack. It is blasting.
Also, I don't think like this is gonna come up a ton, but Graves' Edge on her is if you can get the staggered is like nice. I don't think it's that great, but it's potentially it will come up once and win you the game. Not often though, but Graves' Edge is like a pseudo unique tactical action.
I just didn't even pretend that was on the card. Like you're totally right, it's on there, but
yeah,
like, I don't know.
Like it's not bad, but it's not gonna come up until like it's the one thing that for some reason changes the game. Like
I think the big stealth thing. The big stealth thing for me is it's the fact that it's such a good schemer late game is actually kind of stupid.
Because of the bonus, yeah.
Yeah, it's also really easy to interact, bonus interact. Like, okay.
Yeah, Cruel Disappointment is like very, very good in a crew of armor and shielded.
It's ridiculously good. Yeah, no, the crew becomes very killable, unkillable, which is why like maybe Tier 2 can be really good because you can just have like bubble combat a bit more, and you can deny all the tech of your opponent.
On the Outcast, it's a very expensive, but Matron and the Emissary within Outcast, like you have Cruel Disappointment, shielded armor. Oh, you did punch through damage. I heal it.
Yeah.
Within the Emissary does great healing. So like.
I think the Emissary is kind of the card the model you'll be taking the most just because companion. I think the companion from Tiri into Iron is just going to be such a good combo, and it's going to stay a good combo. Like it's going to be amazing. Like you did that turn 1 to Alpha with Iron, maybe kill a model that hasn't activated yet, and then turn 2 you go with Tiri, and then you just walk in and then blast a bunch, and then also go immediately into Iron Matron.
I had been thinking about you hire Von Schiele into this, and then they changed what leader means on Coming Construct, which made me sad.
Thankfully.
Leaders are masters now. Come on, guys.
All right, that pretty much sums up. I'm not going to lie. That pretty much sums up this whole crew, the conversations we just had. So I think we're going to go through the rest a little bit faster. Ancient Construct. I'll give this guy a 4 stars. Toss, but he's going to be much better in Tier 2, in my opinion, just because in Tier 1, you're going to want more lower cost cards, more cards that draw you cards. And Toss actually doesn't work as well because you're already using movement effects from Tier to get the rest of the way up, and you don't really want to throw people in the middle of the map.
Yeah. We have Take the Hit in Outcast now, so that's
new. Also, not only do you take his the trigger on Toss is also just kind of really stupid.
I was gonna say
when people tell you, bro, just take the hit model, you can.
Yeah. Down Protector is actually kind of insane because it means you can leapfrog your shit back from danger.
Yep.
So that's
and Smoke Clears means Matron becomes even harder to kill.
Yeah, so it's really good. The problem is, I think in the alpha, it just costs too much soul stones, and the toss isn't as necessary. I think maybe in Outcast, it's a little bit better because you can throw Tiri and Matron forward, and then you can do the companion thing much further up the map. But in X's, really you don't need it.
It's incredibly slow.
Yeah. There's a lot of movement in the crew, though, so I don't think it's hard to get this person forward.
A 4 movement, take the hit model seems somewhat not the best to me, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you're not bringing it for take the hit unless, like, you desperately need take the hit, I think.
Oh, interesting. Because I read this as the ultimate I win brawls model.
Yeah,
Emissary and then just like, come at me, bro. What are you gonna do?
I think because of how easy it is to move the crew up. I mean, Tiri off the path is really good. It gives this guy fast, and you're just gonna have your armor take the hit. If you have this next to Matron, you can't severe it. So armor 2 shielded is. Good luck getting through that. I think it definitely has places where there's mid game brawl wedge matchups. Maybe it can be like particularly good. prevents your alpha from being targeted because you can always just be like, you want to slow my guy, construct will take it, and then you can just
That's
keep
fair,
passing
that's
off
fair.
turns at the tip of the wedge until you're finally ready to just punch through.
We also
So
have Yannick, so we'd never run out of cards
yep.
if we're trying to play
not
this
strictly
strategy.
true, but
Also,
yes.
you're still not running out of cards because you're also by God.
Yeah, there's I think there's so many things to mitigate the potential
Yeah.
weaknesses of Take the Hit.
But
in the group.
he's decently. The rest of his cards not amazing. It's just good. I think there's a lot of times where you'll pass up this guy, but
Yeah,
when he's
he's
good, he's
solid.
going to be good.
Yep.
The Unseelie engine is.
It's
Eh.
really it's a really interesting model. I don't know how to use it yet. If that, like, the bonus actions that you can like pseudo make permanent are like good, but they're like, it's an 8-stone model that's also slow, even with the movement tricks. And the Atlas Strike is interesting to like give out distracted with the maybe built-in heal that you can toss to someone else is all like very interesting. But like I don't know how you use this, and then it's like, well, I could do an engine based on this engine, or just like do something easier that's probably better.
I mean, you get to keep all of your shielded, which is really nice, and I think, importantly, it also damages model because the problem is you're just going to heal this guy to full, and then you can't like heal anymore, right? You can't pass it off. It's a little weird in like having to work that out. Is the main reason I'm kind of mad on him. I think for a lot of what you said, I rate him like 3 stars.
Yeah.
He's fine. If you really want to bubble hard, you can. But
yeah, the hidden from the outside world is cool if you like expect a gun line, just -1. You know,
if you know they mass stun is bonus action, obviously you just take it.
Also that, yeah. So it's like it seems techy, but not a staple.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Parsons. I think this guy is just kind of easy 5 stars. The rest of his card doesn't matter too much because his bonus actions kind of just cracked. You end conditions and heal, and also just hand out plus the damage flips. And if you're stuck on the other side of the upgrade, you just get to draw a non-joker from the top 3 cards of your discard pile. So you're just super tools for the job. Which also, if you trigger this nearby your master, draws a card as well. So it's a bonus action draw too.
Draw 2 cards. Oops.
Yeah. Forge Master is one of the more relevant parts of his card, but Ribbon Purity also good.
Yeah, Forge Master is pretty helpful for your unpack.
Yes.
Or not even your unpack, just for like, started turns. Like, oh, everybody who needs shielded has shielded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the fact that he gets the shielded and then reduces also means the minions get to keep the shielded around as well. So it's you can get a lot more shielded than you were originally supposed to potentially.
Yeah.
So all
and
around,
it just has enemies can't cheat fate.
Oh yeah.
On top of everything else.
If you are on the draw cards beat people down half of his upgrade, then you do just you are stat 5, so you're still whatever, but the fact that they literally just can't cheat.
And just like it's a relic hammer, so like a decent attack that ignores shielded. So if you want to go pick off like schemy minions that are relying on shields to not just get fucked, you can really fuck them because
shield has gotten more and more relevant.
Yeah, and statistically, like you have like what 2/3 chance just to auto get like a straight flip on it, especially if you just bonus yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you can't bonus yourself because he's not a construct. Right.
It's only other.
It's not other. He's just not a construct. But
Oh yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe in the future.
Usually makes up for -1 stat. So
yeah, -1 stat probably comes up rarely, but that 1 in 13 where they flip the 13 is depressing.
Yeah. Then you should be red.
Right, my bad. So yeah, easy 5 stars in this guy. Just for almost bonus action alone, but from the card is also really good.
I think it's really interesting that they gave it a stat and a TN, and like it's a 2. Right. I'm like, just don't put it there.
No, because what if they have like
a TN so that they can have a flip a card so that they can get a trigger?
Burn the red jump on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need it so it's triggerable, but also, like, you know, if you have McCabe nearby, and you know, or
Yeah,
who
I
else
suppose.
increases
I just
TNs?
You
like,
know how often I
McCabe
failed
is fast, but
the bonus action on Hoffman? Like, you wouldn't think so, but sure happens.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like really annoyed because most of the TNs we've seen are either like small or non-existent for
the
this
new stuff.
content,
Yeah, which is very frustrating.
and
I
it draws
agree
a
with you.
million cards.
Yep.
I don't know.
Super tools for them job. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
As someone who has TNs be the bane of his goddamn existence, it annoys me.
All right,
You play
onwards to Ket.
Really super
Still annoys
tools
me.
because it's the card you flipped or it's the card 2 cards beneath it. I mean, it's still super
Yeah.
tools, I guess, but
I like Ket a lot.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah, he's
slam
impressive.
4
like a
stars on
badass.
him. He looks amazing, but he's pretty much a filler. The best thing he has going for him is probably the alter gravity. If you do take like the big model's slow movement, you can just throw 2 of these shockwaves to just move your whole crew 6 inches forward.
Yeah, that's really dumb. But
Yeah.
also, it's just like a
Momentum.
10-inch flip a 6 shockwave. But it's a shockwave 2.
Move
Yeah.
against movement.
It's also
is
move
good.
12. Move 12 is pretty low though.
No, that's a 7 for most things. That's
Yeah.
half the deck. But like let's say you hit 3 models with this and they all pass, but they flipped a 10 or higher. That's a perfectly acceptable use of that action, right? Like,
I'm a little surprised it's not like a once per activation on this, just because moving your whole crew 6 inches is kind of just a little insane. But
because
Yeah, who else did that recently that got
Next
nerfed?
Also, Scout Ahead is just like a cute little thing that they put on this for kind of no
Sure.
reason.
Transfer
but the
momentum is the funniest one to me.
I was just gonna get
That's what
there.
Carver wishes he had.
Yeah, transfer momentum is just like, oh, I will drain your focus. Like, oh, you double stacked focus. No, you didn't. I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna take your focus and use it on you. Right? The timing works. I assume it works like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's when you're targeted, so you haven't resisted yet. It's pretty funny.
So if they have focus 1 and they attack him,
Good.
you can't use focus against him, right?
Yes,
Correct.
you would just
Okay.
lose your focus, and it'd be very depressing.
And give it to him. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're
That's
focus
awesome.
1, target this guy. You just gave your opponent focus.
Yep.
If he's on that side, maybe he's on
Yes.
the other side.
Yeah, if he's on the other side.
Which is also really good because it's another it's an after resolving ability.
Yep. That's one that just like with Damien's configuration. So I got to make like a flow chart for this and map out what each one does, because like most of these models have both abilities. So you got to figure out, especially with Architect, you get one of them for the game essentially. What do you want more? So like this, I kind of reinforces with Architect how important it is to like when you go into your game, when you have like a very, very solid like plan and predicted game state throughout the course of the run to figure out what you want preemptively.
Yeah.
I think that's also just part of why Nomad's so much better than Architect,
Yes.
at least in our initial
Yeah.
thoughts, just because you don't have to do 5D chess to make Architect work. It just or to make Nomad work. It just does.
Yeah, you pretty much all of your main thing you're doing on Nomad is how exactly do I want my turn 1 to look, and you have to care a little bit about your opponent disrupting it, but pretty much it's just like if you have to, all you need to do is make sure you come with a pre-planned turn 1. And then you have to just remember your abilities for turn 2 onwards, and just cheat because your opponent, won't pay attention or read your cards because you have way too much text on them.
Well,
I think that's going to be a serious problem. Make sure you know what these guys do, because when you play against them, you have to actively remember. You have to make sure your opponent remembers which side of the card is facing up.
And I think,
that's when you have to it has to be very you put that, I think, next to your cheat deck, and you got to make sure it's hyper visible and enforce that on people, because people suck sometimes.
I think the biggest thing with transfer momentum is that it kind of just says you can't be attacked by ranged abilities if you are either in concealment or engaged with things.
Yeah, because most rely on focus to get around it.
At least one of the negatives, usually, yeah.
All right, onwards and upwards. Actually, I'm not sure if it's upwards or a warrior. Nope, we went down. I'll give these guys a 3-star.
We went down. Damn.
I thought it was gonna be the light next. I'll give all warriors 3 stars. They're cool little models. You can maybe get some really fun things going with follow up.
They draw cards on occasion.
You draw
Yep.
cards pretty oftenly, which is nice.
Give out
A lot of
shielded-
time, you're just gonna fill out your crew with these guys. You don't particularly care that they're there, but when they are there, they do a thing. They pretty much they'll draw a card because you just
Yep.
take an action nearby your master and you get a tome to go off.
Helps you move shielded around.
Yep.
Or like preserve shielded across your crew. If the scrap is there, it lets you put out more shielded. Hyper situational because especially in Outcasts, we can't generate scrap innately, but like it's nice.
Yeah, the only
to
big
have-
downside is your
Yeah.
turn 1 way to draw a card is shooting your guy with a discus grenade, which it's probably fine.
Yep.
You probably don't do
What's-
damage, but you do remove a
What's
shielded.
the best meme for follow-up activations? Like off the path into 3-hour warriors is fun. Is there anything better we can do?
If I remember one of the upgrade, it's the berry upgrade. You can enable it to happen. I think a lot.
Yeah. The prison terrain.
Yeah.
They
Pirates
control where they come out, though. Yeah.
No, you have. I think one of the abilities on it is literally unbury the guy wherever you want.
The unbury the guy ability, I think, gets given to whatever model gets
Yeah.
buried by it.
Correct.
The chosen models the models buried by this train or within 2 of the train marker gain the following abilities. So the buried
Okay,
model
yeah, so
has
you
it,
can
but
toggle
the
that
models
too.
nearby. So you can forcibly unbury them
Okay.
Mhm.
with unlock, which is kind of funny.
Can you lock your own guys up with that, or is it only enemies?
not
I don't have
enemy
it in front of
only.
me. Ah,
Because
that'd be
yeah, that was
funny.
my first thought. It was just using it to like move stuff up the board. With
Yeah.
The, very unbury stuff.
Other than
They're-
that, I
they're
think it's
like-
pretty
they're
much just
fine.
off the path.
They're fine. Like they're 5-star minions. Like they're not great, but they're not bad. Like
Also,
line
as you
up
might
the
have
two of them.
noticed as we look through the models, like almost every model every model in this crew attack actions move your opponent.
Mm,
Like
Yeah.
like the guy we just talked about, obviously the shockwave does it. His own attack
force
does it.
disruption or repulsion.
Parsons does it on
Knock
Knock
aside,
Aside, Unseal the Engine. I think
doesn't.
yeah, I think he's one of the rare ones that doesn't. But Aura Construct has Shove Aside and Toss. Like pretty much everybody does
number of
this.
things,
The
yeah.
Graves Edge does it. Like pretty much everybody has a way to move models. So it's not. It's pretty reliable that if this guy is alive nearby people,
Uh-huh.
it will ping them. It's just I don't know how good that's going to be.
It's cute. Like it'll be nice when it happens, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's not a build.
I mean, they'll have shielded armor nearby Iron Matron. They'll be pretty
They're
annoying to kill.
They're
So
like they're more survivable than they look.
yeah, especially because they don't lose shielded once per turn.
Yep.
But yeah. All right. Onwards and upwards to the first light. This is the actual 5-sauce guy you're filling your crew with
It's so
because
confusing.
Yeah.
so much.
it's just insane. Line of sight give shielded at start phase.
It's okay.
That was the other thing that really bothered me playing into this crew. Is a lot of stuff was either really long range or line of sight. Why is it
Mhm.
line of sight?
Yeah. It's kind
Some
of
people
I
have
think
rights.
a lot of it is to make the alpha better, obviously, because you threw Tiri all the way up there, and you're like, oh god, now how am I going to get shielded at the start of the turn? And you're like, oh, just because the first light sees Tiri from a mile away, I can
You
make
mean
sure
mommy, right?
No, in Outcasts you would go Tiri into Matron, but yes,
Matron.
in
Oh, okay.
in
You get both
X's you would
sides.
just go. I think Outcast might be the scarier threat because Companion's really amazing at the beginning of turn 2, but Iron obviously past tokens are more consistent. But yes, otherwise Mommy Dom is just going to go with shielded as well. After she murked your whole crew with 3 AP, now she gets to do it again. Or with 4 AP, now you get to do it with 3 AP. So Yeah, it's really good. Oh, by the way, you also just get to like rig the top of your deck and draw. Since you draw after the tome trigger, you can rig it first and then draw whatever card you looked at, so you can draw the top 5 potential.
Radiant Flare, by the way, really dumb. Like, it's a 12-inch shockwave to begin with, and then you
Yeah.
got to remember that Distracted isn't even all that bad to put on your own guys, because you can use it to clear off with Parson for just healing before they go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also you
so
don't
that's
need,
annoying.
as far as I know, you don't need to give them distracted to care about
You can
most of the effects on them because
You can just choose to ignore it and then
still get
Absolutely,
the
you're
heal.
allowed to ignore it, but like,
Yeah.
you know, Distracted, I'm pointing out, is like sometimes just a good thing, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
It is pretty funny. Yeah, so also moves your guy early turn 1. Like, it's just a pretty all around amazing. Moves markers around. Yeah. Easy
consult the
5
ancestors-
stars.
Yeah, consult the ancestors. You either look at 5 of your cards or
Oh, and
just-
you know, like downsides of 5-stone models. Oh, they're pretty easy to put down, right? They're fucking hard to kill. Okay.
Yeah.
hard
to kill shielded and line of sight range on its abilities you care about.
It doesn't innately get shield. It does. Never mind.
No, you're always giving that to someone else, but yeah.
Yeah. And it pushes your own things if you want. It's nice. Seems
yeah. Good. If you don't want to look at the top 5 cards of your deck.
Right. Which
it all depends on which upgrade
on
you
side,
want for the alpha. Yeah, it all depends on which side of the upgrade you want for. Yeah.
And then what cards you see, but yeah, like just good. Seems good.
All right. Onwards to the totem.
He's our best boy. He's so cute.
Yeah, I'll give this totem 5 stars. Honestly,
Dude, this totem's fucking dumb. Why does it have Entomb? Entomb's like a 9-stone henchman level action, and then just throw it on the totem as like, oh, why not? You know, have some sauce.
So this is obviously a lot more hilariously cracked in Tier 2, who can drop a ton of different terrain markers and also move them around the board. But even just in 1, this is still pretty stupid.
It gives out 1 gives out staggered, and this is a movement attack.
Yeah.
For damage and stunned. That is really good. It gets +3. So if you want to go super schemer, you do.
This thing's significant. Why is this thing significant?
Because it's super schemer. Look at that guy.
And demise drop tail.
Right. He's a Pokemon. I'm pretty sure there is a Pokemon that's literally this. Or you let him reduce damage to 0 with armor, which is makes them survivable, and it's good.
The only big downside to this guy is in order to get your draw card, you have to attack your own guy, and they're shielded, and then use rollout, which means you're also ignoring their armor and dealing +1 damage.
Well,
so
I think you just don't do that. You
I
just
think
move 7 and shoot something with Entomb.
Yeah, I feel like you're not using him for the draw card mechanic.
Sometimes it's not the worst to just deal 3 to your own guy to draw a card.
Also,
I think that's usually pretty bad.
Put Sand Trigger on Iron Tail to just like fuck you, movement 15, and now you're slow on like potentially 2 models from a totem that gives out.
Yeah,
I just want to point out, like the last time that the game I played, like he threw Entomb at me, and it just did 6 damage and put stunned out because I didn't have cards I wanted to cheat for it. Like it's fucking annoying.
No, Entomb's amazing.
Bad.
Yep, he's at 6.
All right,
only range 8.
And we get to go.
Use a 7.
Yeah.
We get to go onwards to Guild and talk about the most broken models in the game, I think.
That's an exaggeration.
Oh, you don't think so?
I think it's a gross exaggeration.
Interesting.
Herald Toll, the Dead Silent. Oh, why? Let's start with the broken one.
It's a lot of text.
The Artillerist, who I think is Toll 1. None of this matters anymore. Here Toll, the Artillerist, the most broken part about him is twofold. Bombardment, so after every model is activated, models within 2 of the assault marker take a TN12 or take 2 damage, ignoring armor. Also, that duel goes up for each one of his totems in play. He starts with 2 totems, so unless you kill them, it's a TN14 move duel or take 2.
Is there a cap of the totems?
2.
Okay, That he can't like get more.
He
of
can't
them.
get more totems.
Okay.
No.
That's good to know.
I don't.
Hey,
yeah.
man, some people get more totems, So
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Well, even
I
then
don't
they're
know.
rare too, so you would only ever be able to get another
Right.
one
That's what I was asking. If they are
if one
like,
died.
if they're rare 2, or if they're like actually rare 4, but you only like summon 2 of them to start. I don't know. I don't think
totems work that way, but there aren't many multiple totems. But all of them
clearly
work, so you just get to hire
They
all the
already
totems. Yeah.
changed the rules with him. I thought it was a legitimate question. Fuck you.
Yeah. The big most broken thing about this guy that most people are talking about, besides bombardment, which is decently ridiculous. Also, you drop a number of these assault markers at the start phase equal to the turn number. They can't be removed by enemy effects. And they're also treated as scheme markers for one of the dumbest abilities in the game. On top of that, you also just have heavy salvo, which because he has gunfighter, can be used in engagement. But you just get to push people back 6 inches, do 2 damage, stagger them, and sometimes good for a laugh. Like this ability is just so fucking broken.
I didn't even remember Good for a Laugh was on this ability, to be honest.
Just shove someone behind a wall and they're deleted from the game. It's just gross.
Look, please understand, this is a useless ability into guild because they have coats on everyone. So
yeah, that is true. That's
why
very
this
true.
Can't be any good. Loses the guild mirror.
Also, targets move, so fuck cover.
Yep, and most models because stat 5. Okay, let's see. What
else. Right. He also has a range 18 drop an assault marker ignoring loss. So if he goes last activation, he can just make sure that a bunch of people have to take this tool. Not that that's needed, but he can do that.
And built-in trigger on that to give you an action on your totem.
Yeah.
What this is not super important, but MFLG.
5 stars.
What does that stand for? Again, I know it means something.
Grenade launcher, dude.
What's it stand for?
Yeah,
I just told you.
Okay, it's fun. I like it. It's good action. Give out adversary, also pretty nice if you wanted to do that instead. Seems good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never been a fan of these master level give adversary type things, but it helps you get through concealment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I think you're doing it for like also clear away to remove the conditions if you need, like if it's super important, I'm gonna buff my guy and strip the negatives off of it. Like it's kind of twofold. So you get 2 good things out of it. Again, not always a thing you're gonna do, but like if you need to, it's nice.
Yeah, this guy's probably broken as hell, but we'll get to that. Also, mostly because the crew is broken.
Get to position just is great. Disengage.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. I assume that can apply to himself.
He'll never be. Yeah, he'll never be engaged.
Yep. Okay, that's what I thought.
Like my one, I was like, oh, this guy might not be a big problem. You engage him with like engage 2, he's super annoyed by it. It's like no, because even if he can't get out because you like box him in a wall, he still can just go into you and then heavy salvo you a mile away. Like okay, have fun with that.
Have laugh off in your faction, bro.
Yeah, have laugh off. Engage this guy at gauge 2 against the wall.
What is this models with weaknesses that you keep wanting to have?
Just beat it up. It's only defense 5 and hard to kill.
Yeah, you can kill him.
Yep,
he's killed.
That's pretty much what you're gonna have to do. Just kill him. Onwards to the other side of him. Not nearly as good. Mostly just because of how broken the other side. You usually assault, you lose a lot of assault marker generation, which the rest of your crew loves. You lose the ability of them being scheme markers, which the rest of your crew loves. But you can now draw a card. So
and have stealth, which makes the whole kill him less good sometimes.
I'm just gonna put 3 stars.
Also, smoke them out.
You know what? No, I'm gonna just 2-star this guy. It's just so fucking irrelevant compared to the other side of the master.
I don't know if that's fair, but whatever.
10 wounds, only defensive tag is stealth. I don't know. Like stealth is good, but
give them armor if you want, if you're worried about it.
I guess.
10 wounds is a little light for someone that's supposed to be mixing it up in closer range with the enemy. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a nice behind enemy lines for like the swippity swap place. That's cool. I don't know. I think this is it's a very interesting play style. But yeah, like it's clearly not as strong, but it opens up different options. I think you're right that you're probably nerfing yourself to play it, but it's still like independent of Bombardier or whatever the other one was. I think it actually is still good.
I'll say this:
So I don't-
independent of artillery, it's still much worse than the current competitive meta.
Okay,
And the
I mean,
competitive meta is just getting
that's-
stronger, I think.
that's fair.
Here's the downside you have on the legit downside you have on the first guy. He doesn't draw cards anywhere near as well as the rest of the game. This
Yeah.
guy, I think, does.
Yeah, but you're guild, so you're naturally drawing some mins, and it's not hard to just be like, oh, I have lawyers to turn mins into severes. But sure, the fact that you're having to you're not drawing cards, you're cycling cards, right? Because you have to discard the card to take the action to draw the card. So you're never
Sure.
plussing. So you're still pretty.
Unless you're using the other guys who plus, but yeah.
Yeah, and then you're at the same point the other guy is. You're just being able to see more cards
You're not
versus
at the
actually
same point
drawing
the
them.
other guy because you get better cards. I don't know.
Yeah,
You see
you
more
bring the
cards.
back into your hand, which lets you.
But you're
further
also
do the
using Heart of Battle
battle.
much less.
Or-
What?
Because you're not going to have the assault markers around to be scheme markers, so you can't use Heart of Battle
sure.
around them.
I see.
And you're not making them a lot, so now you're actually having to go around making scheme markers a bunch more.
I suppose.
Well, you have behind enemy lines to drop.
Isn't
them.
there just the one model that counts?
I think so. The minions or whatever.
I thought it was
Or-
the hench or whatever that just counted.
Well,
there is a model that does it.
I think it does
thought
the
was-
same effect the other guy does, but maybe
Well,
he
let's-
counts as the
let's-
marker. We'll get to it though.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm not the biggest fan of this, and I doubt from a competitive perspective, I doubt you'll ever see him. If you're playing in a non-competitive environment, he's fine. I'll leave that. That's where my 2-star is going to be. Because at least 3-star, I think that you would tech him in. I don't think you're ever teching this guy in over. But I don't know. Maybe the card draw is worth it. We'll see. I'll bite the bullet there if I'm wrong. King's Wall is one of the easiest 5-stars I've ever given, though. Holy fuck, this model is so dumb. God damn, this model is so dumb. So defense 7, built-in laugh off, and he basically just has a lead line coat. But if you want armor 2, you can definitely go for it. He demises into a pretty good model.
Construct.
Yeah.
Oh right, he is a construct. Sorry, my bad. You can't do that anymore.
Nope, no codes.
But yeah, no, he has laugh off, and the more relevant thing he has is for king and country. So every model nearby you, every friendly cavalier model nearby you, just has a serene continence and a negative to the damage flip. So I mean that's cool.
Hard wound, like real cool.
Yeah.
Just slaps 2 really good abilities onto all your models within 2.
Within 2, but size 3, so like it's a nice big area.
And
Symbol
40
of
mil
the
base.
realm. Symbol of the realm is just like a
You're right.
nice-
This guy is treated as a scheme marker for heat of battle ability. There you go.
Yeah, you just get to use him for that.
Symbol of the realm is just like a nice action or an ability to have. Gets around your friendly fire concerns or the concealment or blah blah blah.
Yeah, any
it's gonna-
negatives is actually like ridiculously cracked.
Yep.
You ignore
Yep.
their serene continents. You ignore
manipulative.
Ignore a luck thief for one person.
luck thief,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Um,
insane. Oh, and by
and-
the way, this guy just has shield slam with days built in because I mean that's cool.
Yeah, why not?
This is good.
His fists are just a good 2/4/6. Who
If
can
you
also
get
make
King's
your
Glory-
master just shoot again
Yep.
because obeys on masters are perfectly fine and balanced.
It's not an obey on the master. It's just telling
Look,
the master to
Only
take another
a
attack.
gun action, right? So if the master's engaged, he can't do it, right? Because it's only gun actions.
Exactly. Yep. Bulldoze
Oh god, how is
just-
that working for gunfighter?
That's what I think. I don't think it works with the gunfighter.
Yeah,
'cause you have to
okay.
take
Yeah,
a flag.
Kieran-
I mean, Yeah.
But then another one of the many things that have a gun in this crew.
You shield flame it away, and then you charge it, and then you can do
Or
it.
I've got your back, because that's on this
Oh
card.
yeah, I got your
Right.
your master out
Yeah,
of
no, don't worry
engagement.
about it.
Also, the bulldoze is just nice.
All right, guys. Counterplay is unfun. We've removed it from the game with Madness of Malifaux, so just do whatever you want.
Create an opening is just cool. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to go through this big wall? You do. Here you go, guys.
It is actually really
Kool-Aid Man.
ridiculous.
And yeah, it's the real Kool-Aid Man because it lets
Exactly.
the rest of the crew do it. And it's the so you pick the big piece of impassable terrain, and it's the entire length, like length and breadth of it, which is just really good. I think that's the
Oh, you have to climb up and down this hill. Nah, I walk through hills. I made a tunnel.
He's a sapper. Well, yeah, because there's a sapper inside of him. It makes sense. Don't question it.
All right.
And on the impassable, so unless it's a narrow piece of terrain, it is a little awkward.
Yeah,
to get
but
off
like
of.
walls and shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, or you set
It's
it
more
up
meant for buildings. It really is meant to Kool-Aid Man,
but
I'm
like
pretty sure.
the turn before you get everything in base contact with it. So it's a 4 inches wide. Next
Why?
turn 2, bulldoze through it. Surprise, motherfucker! And then the rest of your crew.
Yeah, just waste a whole turn of AP to set up this funny moment. Yep, makes sense.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Would you not do that? Fuck you. Of course you would. Are you come on, I will die on this fucking hill. It is worth it.
Alright.
So we talked about Harold Toll Dead Silent being really hard or easy to kill, but we did miss the part where everything within 2 of them is concealing, and he gets to place himself in themes to reduce damage.
Yeah, no, he is essentially unkillable because the whole crew's unkillable because you have King's Wall, and then the model we'll get to in a little bit. Because King's Wall is already almost enough to make the crew unkillable, but no, we'll get there.
So
there's a reason I think this crew is the best crew in the game at the moment.
I tried to bring it up, but I was ignored.
It's spoilers, man. Spoilers.
All right, there you go. I was just talking about the stuff that was already on his card. That's not spoilers.
Oh, the stuff he's still decently killable, but whatever. But 10 wounds is still really low.
But
yes, once King's Wall's brought into it, it becomes much dumber. This crew is insane. King's Wall has to get nerfed. It just has to happen. But we'll see.
18 months. Don't count on it. This just seems like a good model.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't have much to say.
Is that like a tractor she's riding? I need to see this whole model.
No, I think it's just like my guess is it's just a it's a tread bike. It's just a tread bike, I think.
It looks like a snowmobile, kind of, to me.
Yeah, it's a tread bike, pretty much. Yeah. I'll give it 3 stars. It's fine. If you don't mind me, which you really don't in the crew that has a lot of movement effects and then can just heat a battle at end phase.
Well, and don't mind me is a lot worse now.
All terrain. This is cool tech that doesn't get placed in a lot of places. Not being able to be staggered. Fuck Jackdaw, I guess. This smells dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Raspy. Real fun when everyone has all terrain now. Good times.
Yeah.
Claim the land is. So when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this is a really good, but you have Don't Mind Me, so I don't see why Claim the Land is super needed. That being said, you can use it to yank your own models forward. Gets you out of engagement, which is nice.
It's 2 AP for 1 AP if you just flip a 4. That's why it's good.
Well, one of the biggest things is it doesn't have the normal height requirement of size, so you can just King's Wall up the board. Which really bothers me, but
and 50 mil, you yeet stuff up.
The fact that this is giant mech, please hop on my small tractor and move 6 inches up the map, is pretty dumb. But
dude, just get on.
Also, Soulstone Flare, the ram trigger. Granted, it's kind of like Von Shiel's new title. Von Shiel's you take extra damage from it. It's probably actually the same trigger, but it makes the pulse damage from Bombardier better. It's +1, so you would take 3 damage when you fail instead.
It's
don't rely on it, but if it happens,
I think this model's probably going to come down to if you need claim the land to move with the board, maybe you're on like flank or something like that, and you want better deployment, or all terrain is really good tech. Maybe Don't Mind Me is actually important, even though it's not in this GG. It'll come up. Otherwise, I think the crew might benefit more from just hiring like lawyers to make sure you can get like severes in your hand.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But this is just like a good model for Guild to have in its bench.
Yes. Yeah. This I think out of keyword, this is
honestly it might start replacing like Pale Rider a little bit just because it's an easier ride with me. It just is.
And hop on is
also you can ride with me Pale Rider, which is just so funny.
It's only keyword.
Oh, it is keyword, right? It is keyword locked.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry, it is keyword. I can't.
It is keyword locked.
Right. Easier because of the height requirement.
Yes.
The suit requirement is rough.
Yeah, having to maybe soulstone for it is definitely annoying. But
Oh, it's a henchman. Never mind.
Yes, it is a henchman. So the suit requirement's not a big deal. It's just an annoying one. But yeah, right. Thankfully, it's keyword locked. Otherwise, that'd be hilarious. But no, it's a King's Wall ability. If you need to move King's Wall up the board, this is the model you end up hiring.
Yeah, or Tull for better gun ranges or whatever.
Rocketeer.
They seem pretty good.
Yeah, they're just solid.
Yeah, I'll put a 4-star probably.
Yeah.
You're probably not taking this in everything, but the fact that your flight, armored,
one of them,
and
likely.
Up We Go is just broken, especially because you're going to have like a death pit with King's Wall and whatever else is nearby King's Wall. And just throwing things into that death pit with Up We Go is just going to get better and better.
Or after they've activated, tossing them next to your assault markers or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
I've always just said that Up We Go is a master level ability, and I don't understand why it gets printed on smaller models.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's at least it's stat 2 this time and not stat 3. Like every other Up We Go seems to be stat 3 for some weird reason. Stat 2, at least, goddamn, at least you're probably tied.
Yep. Ignite Fumes is just like a fine action.
I mean, it's honestly, it's
fine is where I'd put it.
I would almost put it as really good.
I mean, like it is, but I think you prefer to be using Up We Go, right? With this, however, if it lines up that it works well, like if you have the mass or the tome you're willing to toss into the duel.
Remember, they're also like your master staggers super easily, so a lot of the time you're like up 2 stats on them.
So like,
that's a fair point. If you're just pushing people together, staggering them, and then just
blast burning onto them, it's a really good combo. And then you drop an assault marker nearby them, like it's just
And then you could stack kind of easily like 5+ burning, with the bonus action with one of these things.
Guild doesn't have pass tokens, please understand. Worst faction in the game.
Honestly, it's the only thing making them not the most broken in the game right now, is you can potentially disrupt these crews with pass token crews. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell you do against Cavalier. It's just going to be so disgusting. I think
killing them totally works. They don't have a shit ton of healing with all of their cool stuff.
The funny thing is that I think Tiri might be one of the best at just trying to kill them, either that or Karis. Those are going to be your two best bets for just putting these crews down.
Levy just to kill King's Wall, and then hopefully you're fast enough to pick off everything else. Irreducible just in general, but
yeah, Levy, who's going to be min-2ing the King's Wall a bunch. Woo!
What are you doing him?
What?
You're going to have to help us out on that min-2 thing.
Yeah.
I guess you can punch him with your fist.
But the negatives apply to other Cavalier models, not him.
What?
Yeah, but you do still have to hit the guy with the stat 7 defense he's got with your.
Oh, because he's going to have hard to wound too.
Where does he get hard to wound?
1 second. I literally think next model. Next model. No, damn it. We'll just skip to him. It's because we're talking about him. 5-star Watson. He gives your Iron Wall hard to kill. Woo!
Not hard to kill, hard to wound.
Hard to wound. I mean, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, it's really dumb. This model is the biggest.
I didn't realize.
I hate Warning Growl just as an ability for so many reasons, one of which is that they had all this tech with this hard to wound and anti-hard to wound tech, and then this Warning Growl. Just ignore all of it and be better.
Yeah, I don't know why Warning Growl doesn't say give the models
Other?
hard to kill, or just give them
Or
hard to wound.
Yeah,
Like just give
right.
them the ability so that the
So
models
that
who are
it can
ignoring it can
stack.
still ignore it.
Yeah.
Because that means counterplay, and counterplay is bad for a game, Longton.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
I legitimately would be surprised if Tall is not just like the only master we'll see competitively for a little while.
I would be pretty surprised, but
we'll see. We'll see how easy it is to kill this guy. Funnily enough, one of the few crews I get through all these hard to wounds and stuff is Bygone. Because triple
think Bygone
positive
just
damage
triple,
beats
yep.
double negative to damage. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They don't
Blast,
draw cards
I mean,
is the other big
or if
thing.
you can
So
get
if you do
blast,
just
you can
draw
just
a bunch.
ping off all the damage. Emergency Surret with take 2 of these and call me in the morning is just like fun.
cool
Yep.
trigger
Yes.
name. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Yeah, I
Seems
like
to me
it.
that it's a must. It must be exactly 2 of them.
Yeah, but I assume you can take the same one twice, right?
I don't think so. Maybe?
No. Wait. I feel like
Must
choose
choose
2 implies
2?
they have to be 2 separate ones.
Yeah, I think it's different.
You're
but I
picking
guess
2
that's...
of 3.
Okay, well, all 3 of those are good use, like good things.
Right,
so,
you never
Yeah.
wouldn't. It's just funny that for flavor you had a must in there.
Yeah.
Target. Yeah.
This is. It's. Oh my god. This model.
Maybe you don't want to gain shielded, dude. There are things that punish you for gaining conditions.
Yep.
I guess. But also help me out, Frederick. You get to do this at 10 inches instead of, or 8 inches. You don't. It doesn't add to the 2. So 8-inch heal. 1, 2, 3 end poison.
Yeah, and ignoring loss, so you do it through a building.
Yep.
And
Seems good
if you do
healing.
it, you can assist and then do it if they're like burning or something, which is hilarious because it's not once. So
Yep.
you assist fast is it's just quick cure ridiculous. Heat of battle. This was one of the FAQ ones, so you can't assist with your heat of battle action to then get fast for next activation.
Wait, why not?
It's just in the FAQ.
Oh.
No
explanation.
I don't think rules-wise that makes any sense, but basically
No, that
they're
makes no
treating
sense
it
to me.
as
Why?
they're treating heat as battle as still part of the activation.
Oh, is that part of the like
Same as
Perdita
Opera.
Vendetta thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's
Things
okay.
happen at the end of
Okay,
your
gotcha.
activation or still during your activation.
yeah.
Right. No, actually, that makes sense to me. Sorry, I thought I was getting confused with something else.
So I guess it also means you can charge. So that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Really,
Oh,
really good card.
Also,
Heat of battle, really
medical
disgusting. The rest
medical
of the-
tools is just like if you need it is just like a great attack.
Yeah, he ignores all the shit,
Yep.
and then
Has a
you
heal.
heal sometimes.
And sometimes you heal a +1 because grit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think you're ever like
This is weird.
like you're never bringing this model because of medical tools, but like it might just do it and you'll be happy about it.
I think
it's
you
a
can
really
take this
good
model
attack.
because of medical
Yeah.
kills sometimes.
Ignoring hard to kill, hard to wound, and armor
See,
on a stat
well,
6 235.
I was
Good.
thinking you're making this because you want the healing and the shit, but that
Oh,
and then this
that's a completely compelling reason to take it. I'm just saying, like both is good.
yeah, but like the medical tools is like gravy on top. It's
Yeah,
just,
and
like,
remember,
an
it's
extra,
also a flurry model. The whole crew is flurry models, but better.
because you take them. Yeah,
So why does a scalpel ignore the thick armor plating
Because it's
of like?
precise. You get it in
It's
the.
in between,
It gets in
yeah.
between. Yeah.
you're like you're getting into that small gap above the neckline where their throat is,
Okay.
or their eye.
All right. Back upwards for Hexpo.
They're
They're fine.
good.
We've seen this model for a while.
They're
I'll
Fine
put a
is a
3-star.
word for really
are
good.
Oh, really? We're gonna go really good?
I'm gonna
Just
go really
because
good.
what? Ignores concealment, running gun, 12 inches, gun that built-in burning, can make your
It also
master
just
shoot.
gets to make your master shoot, which we have
Yeah.
to remember. Heavy salvo is one of those things you can do to shoot.
Yeah, all right, fine. I'll go with really good. Fine, I'll slap 5 stars on them.
also,
I
the
forgot. I
wounds-
forgot. They did have King's Glory. I was remembering this off of.
Yep. the
Yeah, the
rune,
built-in Kling's Glory is really good.
because
Also,
of
it can
rune
just have
quiver.
blast on everything, and by can,
Yep.
it's not hard to get.
That's a little hard to get, but
Both
Target
friendly fire
practice.
and concealment. It's
Yep.
dumb.
Target practice is like nice if you want to use it, I guess. I don't know.
Also, if it's next to
also-
King's Wall, remember you ignore everything.
Yep. Well, no, if King's Wall is engaging, that
Yeah, you get to ignore all the negative flips.
they look cool.
Which I guess
Also,
You can say.
Sonya
Well,
probably
like as we talked about, luck thief and that
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Sonya probably likes them as well.
I do like that King's Glory works with Sonya because
Yep.
Makes
that doesn't
sense.
make that
Sonya
much.
was part of the TOS starter kit. That's why it
Yep.
worked. She's with the king
Yep.
or something.
Or something.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good. They're solid.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Running
guess
gun
that's
is
about it.
Just good.
Having a relevant trigger on everything while you can always default to built-in burning is pretty decent. All right,
Just keep
back to
defaulting to burning 2. You know.
yeah, back to
I think
Yep.
one thing we didn't mention on this guy when we looked at him last. Oh, next guy.
oh, you are talking about the new
yeah.
guy. Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's a totem killer sometimes. Like
Yeah.
18 inches. Are good. Like canyon, couple focus, and do
Yeah.
moderate 2 a couple times, and sometimes they don't have a totem anymore.
I guess
This is a guild model now, so we do have to talk about it. That's true.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we skipped it where it was.
Right, that's fair.
No, we totally rated it correctly where it was. Totally.
Okay, so Stand on Fire is just like not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in a defensive oriented crew. Blow to Hell is
it named different than Gatling Gunners?
No, I don't think it's different.
Oh, it is. They are Stand and Fire. Damn, I
Yep.
thought it would be funny if there were 2 of them.
Blow to
Funny
Hell
is the word for broken.
Shall not charge.
Signal Flare is just nice. 18-inch heal or move. Like that's just good.
Yeah, Archer that would be dropped. Oh yeah. I guess it is a pretty decent totem kill. You just back it for 4 severe. You can kill a good chunk of totem. Not really. You do have to pretty much hit 2 severes in order to really do it.
Or moderate, because moderate's the same damage track. And
Why
No,
does this
moderate
card
for
just
3.
draw free cards? That's really good.
It moderates for 3. Severes for 4.
Turn after taking an action.
Sure, right.
Based on the blast, yeah.
Or tie to make draw.
I think like the biggest thing, someone put it on chat. The biggest thing is obviously it's going to be pretty amazing for Vendetta. I think the rest of the time it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of meh, just because I feel like you don't have too many draw cards, so the value of spending it all on these attacks aren't the greatest, especially because we'll get to the.
This guy
totems
draws a
also
card
have
back.
Stupid range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Assuming you have any of the what do you call it? Shockwave markers out there, assault markers. Yeah, assault markers out there.
I think a solid 4 for me. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know if I might actually put him in as a 3, honestly, compared to the rest of the 4s we've seen. I don't think I'm always going to have room for this guy, or even usually.
Yeah.
I'm a 3.
How good is the massive net? It's not that great.
I honestly
it's
think
not bad.
that
Once you start staggering people, double massive net, you need a mask.
I mean, the big advantage of massive net is that it does stagger. So, like, I don't know if you've already staggered them, if you're getting that good value out of it.
That's true.
I really think you're taking this for Signal.
Yeah, I can kind of see
Blow
3.
to Hell, like
or Vendetta, as you were pointing out. Maybe like the totem killer, but most of the totems currently are actually like really annoying to remove off the map, even with like double severe 4.
Range 18, ignoring line of sight, I think is just really good for 6 stones.
Yes. But I really think
the problem
is
we'll get to the totems.
The actual reason you bring this, because you get a heal on things that are super tanky at 18 inches, like a 1-2-3 heal on something that's like within the bubble of King's Glory and Watson or the healer guy. So now you get extra
you're right, yeah.
healing on super tanky things. So like the damage is like great. That like it's a great useful attack when you need to do it. But the heal or the move, like extra movement, you like 18 inches plus your movement 5 or 6 gets you like now you're scheming and no one can stop you, or you get healed. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
I
really
think
good.
I'll put
Yeah.
a hesitant 4-stars on it. I'm kind of with Landon. I think especially in guild. First of all, we'll get to the totems, but you already have 18-inch range attacks. Immediately, I think they're set 4, but whatever.
Still.
The big, I really do like Signal Flare though. The range 18 healed as the
Yeah.
fallback on the 5-inch
I
heal.
think
from,
Signal Flare is bad. I'll say it.
you think a 1-2-3 heal from 18 inches
for
away
an
is set
8
5?
that you
And
then
even
need
8
to
is a big
flip
thing, yeah.
a
Don't-
1-2-3
don't-
on is really bad.
How
I've played
often are you
Sun
just going to
enough.
have loss on King's Wall for just a 5?
It's size 3. Yeah. It's
You think
size
you're
3
going to need to
model.
ignore loss that often?
No.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
realistically most of the time it's a 5.
Yeah. Like I think the
Still, I'm
vast
not a
majority
huge
of it
fan
is a
of
5.
the I'm still not a huge fan of the flip a 5 and then flip a heal cards.
I think
Most of them I feel like are
I
bad.
don't disagree. The fact that yeah, you're probably not drawing drawing the card is a
mean,
little tricky because you do have
a
to land the
5
attack. I don't know.
a-
Yeah,
a
I don't
5
know.
is
I'll
not
put the
hard to
hesitant
do.
13 just because we're doing this in tall, and I like lawyers too much to take this guy a good chunk of the time, I think.
I suppose
think-
that's fair.
I think the heal of flip a 5 then flip something is usually bad because the models you're taking it on don't do other things when they're not doing that thing.
Yeah.
But the flexibility of only having that when you need it and not having big positioning requirements like a lot of those others do is what pushes it over the edge for me.
All
It
right.
could be.
I mean, a lot of healers need like more than a 5 to do a 1-2-3 hip, I feel like.
I just
So-
wonder
True,
if you
Sun
need that
needs a
much
6.
extra healing though.
Yeah, librarian needs a 6, and that's an 8-inch.
Yeah, but
range.
librarian isn't very good for that reason.
Well, that's what I'm
there's other
saying. Like,
actions
this
that are
is
good.
better than that for cheaper, and it's also 18-inch range. Like
Yeah,
I'm-
no, I agree.
I'm really sold on Signal Flare. Is I guess I'm trying to establish that point.
Yeah, I think
How
that
important
just-
cover?
it's very
Cover is just not
flexible.
that important, right? It's really only for the hex bows.
Yeah,
Almost
I
no
think,
one else
um,
cares about cover, I think, in the crew.
I think blow it to hell.
Right.
Is
Did you know you
more
could
for, like,
pay
the
2
Bayou
soul stones
side.
to make the hexbow ignore cover?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah, that
blow it to
actually
hell
exists.
is more Bayou side because like you
Man,
hire
paying
this
one
out of-
more soul stone for Hexbow. Oof, yeah.
you could
What bio guns are you thinking of comboing it with?
Ophelia.
Well, we just
Hmm.
told you this is a guild model. We don't talk about Bayou here.
I know. I'm just saying. I think blow it to hell is more for the not
Yeah.
guild side.
I don't know. Maybe you hire Pale Rider.
Yeah, I
don't know.
mean, like you could
You could
make
run
it
the gun line,
useful
yeah.
in guild, but it's not. Guild
Now
doesn't
you're not
need
playing
to
tall,
ignore-
which is broken. Or you're playing
Lone
tall but
Marshal.
hiring the models that don't synergize well
Lone
with
Marshal
like
ignoring
ignoring cover.
cover is scary.
Yeah, but so
Yeah.
it's just having tall models. We'll see.
All right, we're good on this. I think.
Yeah, I think this guy's been.
Sapper, the guy that pops out of the wall.
He's good. He's solid. Like he's a good 5-star minion. I don't know what else you got to say on this one.
He's a really good 5-star minion because he gets 3 AP.
Yeah.
And he rigs the top of your deck, which is, pretty good. Other than that, yeah. If you need the extra scheming, extra walking around, this guy is just good.
Combos with lawyers lets you grab the tools card that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Trench gun is just nice because like it's a blast. Like whatever. You don't really care. Disrupt supply lines. You can just annoy people with it, and then like you don't care if it goes off, but if it does, it's nice,
It's just
maybe you
it's
get a
just a
skill mark
really
out of it.
good model that pops out of King's Wall when it dies.
Yeah, that too.
Like the rest of it is fine. Duck and cover is pretty cute because, you can now choose to be affected by
Blast
that,
onto
I
him,
guess.
yeah.
And just the fact that it has stealth means that it's really annoying to go out of your way to kill. Which
And
is
his quick getaway if you screw it up.
fine. It's yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna put like 3 stars. I almost want to put 2 stars. You're almost never.
Yeah,
I'll put
I'm
2
with
stars.
you.
You're never hiring this guy, but he's really cool when he pops out of Iron.
I feel like you
King's
might
Wall.
hire one to round out. I gotta have to mathing out
Yeah.
how you're like. Yeah, you have 10 stones remaining. You don't want to put upgrades. Like,
So many
I mean,
good
exploit
versatiles.
weakness
Just
is
let them
good.
go, right?
Exploit
like-
weakness is really good, but are you really like not willing to pay 1 more for the guy we just talked about, or 2 more for Expo?
I'm assuming you already have those in there, but yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, that's my point, though. Like, you have to be at a very interesting break point when you build your crew, I think, to make Sapper worth it. And also, then it's like 1 more for Gunner, who draws a card, which I think is kind of relevant for the crew,
Mhm.
is also nice, and can give your whole crew stealth because you need more defensive tech, obviously.
Or just the versatile that gives your stuff focused, whose name I don't remember right now.
Yeah. So there's a lot
There's so many
of
options.
Steward. There's a lot
Yeah,
of really good
Yeah.
options in Guild that
Yep.
I don't think Sappers can ever cut it, but he's obviously really nice for the fact that he pops out of King's Wall. Now we get back to the totem. These are easy 5-star totems. So one of the nice things I like, and I think Gunners are going to be relevant in Tall, is because they just draw the card for a Gunner. So it's really nice to guarantee stealth your whole crew against certain matchups. Like, your opponent's crew is a gun line, and instead of having a gun line versus gun line that interacts with each other, yours can interact with theirs, and theirs can't interact with yours. And this is the other reason why I'm convinced the other guy's as great, because this is your other 18 range model that ignores line of sight. That gets to just, do 1, 2, 3 damage.
Stat 4 though. But
Yeah, but a lot of
They're
totems have
good.
low defense.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't really care if these hit, because if your opponent has to cheat a card to not get hit by this, I think you are happy
Winning.
with that.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're just going to be moving around the assault markers, realistically.
Yep.
It's no TN, no flip. You just get to push the marker 2 in any direction to really make sure they end up nearby your opponents.
Or having T ready.
Yeah, just healing King's Wall 2 is really nice. Like, I don't know. No TN well on this one. It's like, oh, you staggered my guy, you stunned him, you did whatever. It's just like, all right, cool. I'll walk this guy. And then just, okay.
Also, resupply is nice. Just like just pulling 2 crap cards out of your deck for when you recycle for the next round.
Yeah,
Just-
with the crew that lawyers exist in, it's yeah, they're just a really broken thing. But that's fortunately all there is. So yeah, Tall. I'm calling it the biggest threat in Malifaux at the moment.
So do you legitimately think that Tall is better than Damien? like an honest question.
Yes, because I think Tall beats Damien just because of
The ranges.
the ranges, the interacting to just push them back and stagger them is really annoying for Damien 2. And Damien 1, as I said, it's actually really easy to just throw up your bubble and get stealth on your whole crew. And then what the hell is Damien 1 actually going to get within 6 of your crew that just murders people's up
Okay.
we goes Damien into your own crew?
Mhm.
Ugh. It's going to
That makes
be
sense to me.
returned is the keyword I want.
Return seems cool. Do you think this is in the same tier as the other one?
Yes.
I'll do
Alright.
it right now. Caster Awakened, 5 stars. This is going to be my wildest hot take, I think. But
It's not a hot
particularly
take.
in Rezzers, I think Caster 1 is just broken. We'll get to
Yep.
it in a little bit, but basically the urn means any movement effect nearby the urn can heal Caster to proc the ping on your totem, and it's really easy to just hire 3 enslaved spirits to do that whenever you want.
Yep.
So it's really easy to get a ton of pings out from far away, and that's really good. Is it actually 5 stars because of the amount of interaction that's potential? Maybe not. Like, against Tall, he can upwee away the sword, but if he only brings one of those models, it's not hard to go with Castor and bonus bring it back in.
And then you just put you just move Marathine back in.
Yeah.
Also, just to further expand, Dominate is an incredibly strong action. Staggered Stun can like shut down a model really easily, but then you enthrall it and you like walk it away from you and it's stunned and staggered. So like they try to alpha you and you just pick that model, assuming it's not a master, obvious caveat there, and you say no, fuck off. And then that model is effectively out of the game for a minimum of 1 round, if not more, because you stagger them and then you have them charge their ignoring staggered. They're 5 or 6 inches away, hit one of their own guys. That model is going to be out of the game for a minimum of 1 round, as much as 3 or 4. It's incredibly strong, and it's like you at stat 7 against willpower. It's very, very difficult to try to like prevent that from happening.
Yeah. I mean,
He looks cool.
tall sips tea. Condition
Yeah,
removal, I feel
sure.
like
Reasonable.
isn't as rare as it was anymore. A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of the top competitive teams have just it on incidentally on different models. Obviously, Bygone has it weirdly on a bunch of models.
Yeah,
Tall has it on its totems without a TN flip.
but that still forces you to do that, which gives
Yeah.
caster time. Like it forces the caster opponent, to like have to do that, which allows caster to like do what he wants when
Mhm.
your opponent is being forced into things, and you have a ton of that healing you get while all the ping damage is happening. Like it stacks up really fast.
I'm
See,
just
I don't know. The thing with Control, having played a lot of Control in Malifaux, is that it has to be so absurdly good to be better than the greatest control ability in the entire game, which is
Just killing
killing the
things.
model.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like I don't know. You just have to figure out what are you gaining from the control, because if you are winning all of these duels and spending these cards, and then you've just made it so the model doesn't do anything for what, 1 turn?
Probably two.
it's nice
Maybe
that it's
2?
also an okay. Like you just get
Yeah, it
to
is.
you get to
And maybe
charge.
this hits the threshold, but yeah, I don't know.
So it's
That
not
was
bad to
pretty
stagger
better than
stun
they play.
charge the guy backwards into their own crew, because
Yeah.
that's the next step up, is you're charging
Yeah,
them into
exactly.
their own crew.
Yeah.
So not only are you bringing them
Or-
away, but you're also potentially just whacking somebody for a bunch of damage.
Right. Or
Right.
you want to kidnap someone, you call for blood them, and then you yank them towards you, and they're stunned and staggered, and then you kill them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or you stun and
No, it's
stagger
definitely
them
strong
next to your sword, so that they're the consistent guy you can constantly ping on with your sword next to,
For
and they
healing,
can't
yeah.
Rexy the guy because he's staggered.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's very flexible, and then you get his Devour attack, which is just like it heals him any damage he deals, which is going to give you that more opportunity for that proccing if you didn't just take the regen because you're playing him in green and are going to pulse that damage out. You get the do you want to give me a double plus or discard a card, which is like a nice thing. Like, and it's against movement, which is just like a better attack generally, right?
You
Stat 6 against
get
movement.
to pick. You get to pick. Which I think is super relevant. They don't get to pick on discarding a card or getting double plus. You just get to be like, oh, I want double pluses right now. You're like, oh, 5 damage isn't worth it because I can't guarantee it. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, you pitch a
yeah.
card.
Yeah. Which,
I
like,
yeah,
a
and then
random card, like,
yeah,
discard
your
a
double
random
plus
card.
flip. You're probably minting. You can probably severe for 6. It's really nice against the crews at bunch, which is I think would be pretty common. The only question is like how easy is it going to be for opponent's crew to deal with the sword location versus how easy it is for you to correct your sword location for the ping crew. I'm thinking about. I think if you're not a ping crew, or that list doesn't end up working because it's just too easy for like Tall the higher up we go, Tiri to just have all the movement effects it has. That
Well, and that's where you don't
it won't be
have
like
to
3
just
star.
do the ping list. Like caster, like if you don't kill caster flat out or block healing, he can heal a ton of damage if he needs to. He's very tanky with hard to wound and 12 wounds with all this healing that you could potentially give. We'll talk about this, but you have ranged healing. You could just like heal him 4 if you really wanted to. and there's all of these ways to feed him health while you have some other thing like models that deal good damage.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the ping list doesn't work out that this crew is at all playable, to be honest. I hear what you're saying, but just like the damage being done against a defense 5 master who has to be in 1-inch melee range to being able to get like the big heals or even like moderate damage, because like even severe for 5 isn't like that cracked up to like what a lot of other people are doing. Severe for 5 that it doesn't
Sure.
ignore anything. So against the shielded armor people, you're like hitting them for 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
It can get pretty brutal. So I'd be surprised. But I'll quickly mark the second caster, who I think is if the ping one can't be played, I think you just play this guy because you get
He's
the
more
stat 7,
straightforward,
3,
I
4,
think.
5 murder.
Yeah.
But so I think you probably just go with this guy and just don't care about the healing yourself, and you just realize
Mhm.
that mutilate's a good trigger, and you can just kill
Kill
a lot
things.
of things. And just double pulse out slow to like a whole crew that bunched if they don't have like a way to block damage. Like it can get decently nasty. That being said, still giving him 3 stars. It's just
Sorry, what are you talking about double pulsing out slow here? Are we talking about mutilate?
Oh right,
I was
Mutilate's
trying to
not
find out
model's
the target.
damage.
It's
It's
the
just the
target.
No,
target.
it's target,
Oh god, I
okay.
forgot how bad Mutilate is.
Still good. Stat 7.
Also doesn't require damage, so just
Right,
Yeah.
it just goes off.
That's true.
Visceral Rampage is really great for like getting your own guys up.
Oh wait, actually 1 second. I just want to talk about something just because of how much it pisses me off. So as much as I rate this guy a 5-star, for 1 second I'm going to give him a 1 star. Bountiful Feast is the stupidest ability I've ever seen put on a master ever. I don't know if this ability will ever be used, but a TN13 defense duel or take 1 and then you wait to heal 1 for the damage dealt. This ability literally, I think we talked about it. We literally think this ability could just be, just pulse out 1 damage and pulse out 1 healing, no TN, once per turn.
It could be
is
Yannick.
fine. And it's not even that good.
It could be Yannick's ability.
Like, unless you're using it for sniping exactly killing somebody, you probably don't even use it that often. Like,
no, it does not exist on the card.
Good lord, that's such a stupid ability to see on a master. Back to caster 2. Yeah, 3 stars. The rest of his stuff is fine. I think in order for return to be really good, the ping thing has to be good. Although I did see a funny list where I think it's like, what is it, Bishop as a master return list that could be funny in Outcasts, but I will see.
Barbaros, you mean?
Barbaros, yeah. Barbaros,
yeah,
and then you get to hire all these weird picks you would never get to have in Outcasts, and they synergize really weird.
Yeah.
So there's some fun synergies you can do there, but most of the time I'm going to be saying this keyword is pretty mid. And to start off, we're going with the Craven Nephilim.
Cavern Nephilim?
Oh, it's Cavern. Oh, because I guess they're bats. Yeah, that makes sense.
For a while.
I'll give them 3 stars, I guess.
2.
I don't know. Bonus action move is kind of nice. Bonus action remove scheme marker is not even terrible. It's bonus to tools is kind of nice. Stealth regen is kind of cool. Ignoring terrain is cool, but
so
like
this is
the attacks are just like mid.
I think this guy's cooler for Nephilim than he is for this keyword.
Yeah.
I thought he was cooler for Nephilim or Barbaros.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
with return, he's kind of like he's too expensive. He doesn't do enough for 9 stones.
Yeah, I would be shocked if you ever hired this guy and returned. So in return, honestly, I would put him in 1 star. I would be really shocked if you ever hire this guy in return.
Ferocious Claws sometimes just gives you points, so there's that.
Yeah, it does. It's rare, and I don't feel like you have a lot of good ways of getting focus in this crew, to be honest. You can obviously do the early spam with Rezzers.
You can always hire Blackblood Shamans if you're in
Nephilim.
Yeah.
If you're in... You don't have to be playing Nephilim, you just be playing purple and hire
Black. Right, this crew can be in Neverborn.
Yeah,
because Neverborn's a faction people play.
Just run into a flank and then shove someone off of a guard the stash marker, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there are other models that do similar things that I feel like you don't need 9 soul stones for.
Yeah,
it's
9
it's
is
fast.
a
It's
little
fast
rough.
with regen. So
Yeah, but
the
it's willpower
one,
4, and willpower attacks are so common right now. You just
Yeah.
die.
Stealth though.
It's true. Stealth is nice for going off in corners. So maybe in flank you'll see this guy played a little bit. We'll go with 2 stars.
Echolocation
I don't
to
know.
do the
Yeah.
YOLO leap, like you get 8+ inches of placement effect. More if you get the blast onto multiple models, which is
Yeah.
cute.
And you
I'm not saying
you
it's
can
good,
attack
it's
your
cute.
own guy in order to place. So it is a range 8 ping 1 in your own teammate to place base with them.
Yep.
But it's weird. All right. Barbaros. Do we want to talk about him in reference to this crew? I don't think he's that great, but he's great as a master now with the return keyword. So
Yeah. He's a solid tank. Like you can slap big regen on him in Rezzers. Like if you want, just like if you're not going out of keyword, which is especially in Rezzers is like the asterisk there. He's just like a solid, good model. Like
yep. And he might be interesting in Outcast with the return models, although probably not.
Only if you use the alt sculpt, not this one, because this one's shit.
What, you don't like the little derpy pointy stick?
No. The alt one is the only real Barbaros.
All right. Atharak, 5 stars. Not actually because I necessarily think he's 5 stars. Because of his card.
What does that mean?
I think it's potential that Ward Stones with Corpse Curator with Dredge Up might actually just be too broken. I'm not sure though. But it's really, really funny.
He's so tech based though. Like
yeah, but it's like against Tull, they literally just cannot shoot anything between like a 6-inch gap. Or like even like bigger. Like you just make a massive line being like none of your shots go through this anymore. And a slow crew that can't approach the center too quickly. Like you just place these you place these on the center of the map, you dredge up to move one forward, and you just create this massive line potential that nothing can get through.
Unless it ignores line of sight.
Which like half a Tull things does, yeah.
Right.
But not the relevant ones.
Okay.
Kind of.
So if your opponent, like, if you're bringing this for like a single ranged attack, I don't think it's worth it. You have to have like an opponent bringing a full gun line, and then
I think it's worth noting that this works on more than just like guns, right?
Yeah,
you see your opponent push forward their Iron Maiden or whatever, and you just drop Ward Stones behind and say, "Good luck casting all those support abilities now."
Yeah, but again, it's like super techy. If you don't need Ward Stones to like, you like go off, right? What is like? Are you going to hire this model? No. So you're paying 8 or 9 stones explicitly for Ward Stone.
No, because you also sometimes want the course marker and Rezzers setups. Maybe. I mean, I don't hire this in my list, so my 5 star is very misleading because I don't play with it. With what I think is a caster list. Realistically, I think this is, as you're saying, probably 3 star. It just has potential to be broken. The downside is a lot of crews now have marker removal, so Wardstones don't actually stick around that long. If you play them too aggressively, so you have to play them decently back, and now you're not the crew approaching. And it's like, can you really make a good gun line where you can hide behind it and they can't? And it's potential. No. I think
Look, Angel Eyes is such a sexy gun.
It'd be funny to do with like Pandora or something. Just start trying to kidnap things. Rezzers has obviously not great because they would have to second master them. So
yeah, that's not gonna work.
It's
but I don't know. I think like it's an interesting model. I just don't think Ward stuff like it's really good, but most of the time it's not gonna matter.
I think that generating a course marker could be relevant in Rezzers, but that's about it.
I get if you want
also, Ancient Words is just a good attack.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's remember because it's also just surge that heals and patings potentially for your guy, so it's fine. The fact that it's not built in but is any tome because you can relent is We'll see.
It's another friendly model. What does that mean? No.
Yeah, it's very confusing. All right, white eyes.
It's better for Mimic.
Yeah, I'll just put
And-
this guy at like 2 stars. I'm probably never hiring him. Inhuman physiologically is great. You can try to keep this guy alive in the middle of the crew, but defense 4 is just. I mean, 9 wounds, but still,
Hard to
defense
wound.
4.
Yep.
Defense 4,
Yeah,
guys.
no, I wanted to like white eyes. I don't think I do though.
No.
Unnerving's cool, but I think we're past the point of persistent triggering being the relevant things in most of the top lists.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just slam 2 stars on this guy. He's potential, but realistically, no. Urnbearer. This is the guy that's cracked.
6.
5
6
stars.
stars.
He's what breaks the ping list. All because of Faith and Flesh. Wait, no. Fill the urns? Wait, which one is it?
Yeah. Fill the urn.
Wait, why is this good again?
What's the name of the ability that does it? I can't remember.
Fill the urns.
It is Fill the Urns. Okay. Yeah.
There's so much on this card, and all of it is
No,
good.
it's not Fill the Urge. It's Pools of Blood. Wait. Yes.
No.
Yeah. Once per activation, after a friendly return model ends a
Oh,
move within 2, that model may heal 1. And you can use, as I talked about, Enslave Spirit, move casters within 2 of this guy, and you just ping on your sword. And that's going to be
it's really tough to
good.
digest this card because every ability on it is actually like 3 abilities.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rest of it's also just really nice. You get shielded on everybody, move your guys. The fact that it's just hazardous 2 inches around him is pretty good.
It imposes a negative to your first action, each activation within 2, while in your in the hazardous. Unless you discard a card.
It's really good.
If you want to use it as a lore piece, it just has lore. That's never bad, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
Plus, down to the last drop is a really good ability.
Yep. Especially
when you're a keyword of black blood.
Yep.
Empty urn is really easy to get off to get your shielded onto your castor to go in.
Fucking easy to do.
And
look, you healed 4. You took damage. I heal you. Also give you focus because focus is good.
Realistically, you just circle jerk in the back with this guy with Enslaved Spirits, and you just use him as a bot that gives massive heal 4s, focus early game, massive heal 4s mid game, and then maybe lures a guy or down to the last drop to finish some people off. Just all around, he's what makes the ping list possible. Without him, I just don't think it's easy enough to heal. The fact that you can just turn Enslaved Spirits into a ping around either castor or the sword. Really good. Downside, he dies. Gets like no defense attack besides the massive amounts of shielding he can get.
You can hide him.
Tech is putting a bunch of stealth models in front of him to block line of sight.
There you go.
You can hide him with the Unseelie engine as well, because it's just a big model.
What? Unseelie engine is in Explorers.
Yeah, it's also the same keyword. They share
it's returned.
Box.
Right. Oh, right. Also, the Unseelie engine works with passing the healing forward.
Yes, that Kyle tried it on me.
So if caster goes forward, you can still at least you can heal. Yeah, that's interesting.
This is
I forgot about
where
that.
I think caster is super survivable. I don't know if it's not an auto take, but it's an option you can do.
This guy is an easy 5-star. He's just stupid. Like, I don't know. He's just kind of stupid. He can't be killed. Nothing really bad can happen to this guy. The worst you do is bury him or just like constantly have to move him away from your crew. Because if he stays nearby it, he's going to just ping the shit out of you.
Yep. Like unresisted AoE damage. Yeah. Like unresisted damage is fun, and they gave an entire crew that could be built around that premise if you wanted it to.
Yeah. I like Yannick. What are you talking
about? So yeah, just all it's going to come down to, and the fact that most of the moves are target, willpower, or move means he's perfectly fine statted. The defense stat is basically irrelevant because most things that move this model don't target defense.
There's a lot of stuff that targets defense to move.
Yeah, but a lot of it's like shove aside or like 2-inch movements and stuff like that. So I mean, it
No,
exists,
like
but-
reaching tendrils and the good thing on your Barkinus guy who has the tendrils, I think it's also defense.
No, that's move.
All right, well maybe his is move, but lashing tendrils is not. Reaching
Lash-
tendrils is defense. Why is lashing tendrils not defense?
Lashing tendrils.
Why is there a
move.
difference between reaching and lashing?
I don't know, but lashing tendrils is move. That one I know.
Well, reaching tendrils is defense.
Yeah, easy 5-star. This guy is just a hero, and he's insignificant, but he can remove scheme markers, so that's cool. Remove scheme markers while engaged. He can just beat the shit out of people with his sword. And heal his master, which is another ping.
Yep.
So that's cool. All right. What are we moving on to now? So we just knocked out Outcasts, Rezzers. The only thing left is 10 Thunders.
Yeah.
What is this keyword called again? And
Red
the problem
Library?
is it's both story and red library.
Mhm.
Yep,
Um,
that is true.
so Landon, I'll let you just hot take rate all these cards. At least they're in your faction.
Cool.
Mhm.
Just throw them up on the screen and I'll give my hot takes out.
All right, storyteller, what are we doing?
Let's see here. Story, what are we doing?
Because this is my true hot takes. This is the rest of the cruise I actually spent Castor, Damien,
Okay.
obviously. The rest of the cruise I spent a lot of time streaming up lists and all these other things. This crew, I didn't give a shit about.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a very similar boat. I did not do a lot of reading and testing with the story red library stuff.
I
Like
think
buy the book's neat, I guess. And condition removal is something we didn't have good condition removal in our factions. Like that's kind of neat sometimes. I don't know. I just really am not excited by her card. 2 stars.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
actually just gonna say that. Like
Oh,
I don't know.
hot. That's hot. 2 stars. That's actually more aggressive than I would think. I almost. I guess our 3 stars
got,
has
like,
kind
min
of
3
been like
beats,
a
but
tech
she's,
pick
like,
almost.
Easily the worst min 3 beats I've ever seen on a master. Like I'll say that, right? Storycraft is just like a non-action. I don't know. Like if coordinated attack was built in, maybe Storycraft would be playable, but I don't.
Confiscated lore is good.
Yeah, I mean it is, but like, is it good enough to like justify?
You get to
this
guarantee 1
model?
damage, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice.
I
Ignoring
Gets one
line
hard
of
to
sight
kill.
and range guarantee.
You don't even
1
get to
damage.
guarantee that damage.
You do,
it's
because of
gonna
Mia.
be very likely, but
No,
well, okay.
Mia guarantees it because she gets if Mia went first, you get the tome in to your config, and then if Lynn goes, you get to look at the top 1 card of their
Well,
deck.
Wait, don't read it in a weep. Don't you look at the cards and then choose a suit?
No,
It
'cause it's a
chooses
cost.
the cost of declaring a trigger.
Oh, okay.
God, then it would be really good. I
Okay,
don't
but
know if the
consider that
master would
top-
still be really
even
good.
if you
but-
get to look at the top 1, you then also have to discard it no matter what to guarantee that one. Like, you see an ace on there, it's like, oh man, now I have to discard the ace. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of fine with 2, mostly because, as like Chet kind of pointed out, she's more of a tank than a beat stick, and I just don't feel like that's a method of
She's not
play
even a
at the
good
moment.
tank.
Wait. You're calling her a tank then, but the other
The
one
crew,
of the
the crew
models-
total together can be kind of tanky, but yeah, if you have to compare it to like Tull or something like that, like it's pretty painful.
Yeah, I mean, like the heal 1 pings once per activation is nice. I don't hate
Yeah.
that. And like the confiscated lore is neat, but like I don't know. There's nothing compelling enough here. The best thing on the card is the heal 2 and condition removal, and that is not good enough to make me play this master.
Yeah, it's also
Actually, that's a lie. The best thing on this card is the push 2 friendly stories, 3 at the start of your turn.
Yeah.
But like the second best thing is the heal and condition removal.
I think this crew sadly is kind of killed by the fact that she actually has real TNs and none of her things are built in, and like every other crew we've talked about has none of those problems.
Yeah, it's like they decided that 10 Thunders was going to get the fair faction.
The fair
out of
ones, yeah.
all of them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Which, moving on to the versatiles when we get there, at least we got something broken, but like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to it. How about the other half of her card?
I think this one's better. This one at least has a very distinct identity of how it works and what it's going to do. I don't think it's good this GG at all, but I think in another GG it could be good. I'll give this one a 3. I still think the things that it's good at we already have in our faction in different places, but
Mhm.
maybe you'll play it sometime as opposed to the other one, which I don't think you'll really ever play unless you want to play Bibliocary and then you just run into a situation where you can't.
Yeah, I mean, split focus is obviously just really good.
Yeah.
The lost knowledge is really nice. Ancient words is just a good attack, although the triggers for it not having, they're fine. I mean, Draw Secrets is obviously really good, especially because you can target an ally if you have to.
Yep.
But
Slow is good, but
yeah, the fact that nothing's built in, it's a 2/4/5.
for a
It's like, would you
master
rather
AP,
just
it
lost
doesn't
knowledge?
feel
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
So the hot take I've taken on this and I've seen around is this is just Molly but 10 Thunders, but Molly wasn't good to begin with, so I don't know. Am I excited about having Molly and 10 Thunders? Not really.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
activating a second time is kind of cracked. It might
Yeah,
just
but
be
I
able to
mean,
swarm them with too much AP, because you have that, you
I don't
have the split
think
focus.
there's a red library model that really takes advantage of it. There's a couple that are really good, but I think it's mostly for scheming rather than for beats. And in
Yeah.
another GG where scheming's good, I think this model could be good. It's just we're
Mhm.
not in that GG right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
we rotate in 2 months, 3 months for GG, right? Is that so? Maybe we'll get it soon.
I'll be
who
happy
knows?
to revise my
Yeah.
opinion of this entire keyword when the new GG hits.
Uh-huh.
Until that time, I don't think it's any good.
Control the red library is kind of cool for wagon moving, though.
How is she dropping all these schemes that her entire card needs to interact
I
with?
don't know.
She uses the interact action
Oof.
or hires hucksters. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. The rest of the crew
I think
has
there
some.
might be a story model or two that actually puts them out
There
incidentally,
have to be,
but
right?
There
I
are.
don't
We'll
think
get to
there's
it.
anything that's ridiculously pooping it out.
No, hucksters are the best, probably. I just love the cute little fox dog thing. It's adorable.
would.
I think it looks
I
adorable.
like the giant cool paper hand on the title much more. To be
I'm
honest,
very curious to see what
Oh
the
yeah,
actual
that is also
sculpt
cool.
does, how that.
I saw that sculpt in the box, and I'm like, man, I hope this master's cool. And then the card came out, and I'm like, fuck.
All right, the story of Sun Wukong.
Yeah, this is the good one. It doesn't die when it's killed,
Yep.
so that's usually a good start for a model. Other than that, what can I say about this model? It
Also, it's not just that it doesn't die when it's killed. Its unbury is kind of cracked.
unbury is
Because
kind
it
of
unburies
yeah, I mean,
anywhere not
part
within
where you
3 of
get
a
to go-
table edge and not in the opposing player zone. That's
it's
most
good.
of the map.
And it doesn't
And
have to be
whirlwind
an
attack
enemy.
is just really nice to have on something you don't have to do against enemies, especially since you also get to place within 2 of whatever you're slapping. So that part's really neat too. We get to be annoyed that, some of these cards have their triggers printed on the wrong suits relative to what they were before. So I don't know if we get new cards or if we just have to play with the suit switched from a card that we might already be familiar with, but it's a thing.
Wait, what? The suits got switched?
Yeah, I think Whirlwind Attack on the Vix is like a ram or something. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Brian.
I believe that is right. I will check that. Hold on.
So did it get changed on them right now, or just in the old card text?
No, it's in we have the same trigger on 2 different suits in the game.
Yes, on the Vix, Whirlwind Attack is
a ram. That's so weird.
Ram.
Huh. That's really weird. All
It's
right.
a little weird.
So how many stars we doing?
This guy, I think it gets a 4 stars. I think he's usually really good.
The bonus action is
all
nice.
of his stuff's pretty decent.
As a 9 soulstone out of keyword, is he fine? Or
I think he is.
yeah,
I think he is.
that's Yeah, he seems pretty good. I mean, just not dying while you're killed is really good, and having a super relevant bonus action. The fact that it can't be taken while engaged though is a big downside.
Just
Yeah.
But you can disengage and
Just-
still use it. So
yeah,
Just
extended
True.
Ryuji Jingu Bang.
extended reach is just nice as well.
I am a little annoyed that he's a 2-inch reach and then his whirlwind means he needs to be within one of the target, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
intuitive.
everything.
It is nice so that you
I got
can
really
just-
excited at first when I read Journey to the West because once per turn was before enemy only, and I missed that requirement. But
Oh,
it's still good. Like I don't know, he's a hard to pin down schemer that also beats pretty decent and like can do some AOE. I like him, and he
Hard to
doesn't die
kill.
when he's killed.
Yep.
And the fact that he's so like hard to pin down when also having extended reach is nice.
Yeah. All
I
right.
like him.
The story of Rajin.
it's
Yeah,
cool.
Raijin is pretty cool. You gotta remember there's an I in there.
Yeah, Rajin. Sure, whatever. I know Japanese.
Yeah, don't you?
Mm,
They don't know that.
But no, like Middle of the Storm's good tech to be able to have outside of Shenlong, because before we only had that with the Wing Golem. Maddening Drums, good tech to just have, because marker removal is the thing that we didn't have a lot of before. I'll kind of go on a little bit of a rant that I'm a little upset that every faction is just kind of having their weaknesses go away this expansion, because a lot
someone
of
in
things
chat
we couldn't
pointed
do
out
before we just do.
someone in chat pointed out a slightly relevant thing, which is Whirlwind doesn't hit the target, so the being within one of the target doesn't actually matter.
Oh yeah,
Especially because you
that's
just
true.
place next to the enemy
Other
and
than
do
the
it.
target,
But yeah,
yeah.
good point. But yeah, back to Raijin.
Thunderstruck's good, and Sound of Thunder is just like really good. This model I think synergizes pretty well with a lot of different keywords. Like I think he's like a 4 or a 5. Like he does a lot of different cool stuff.
Yeah.
The only downside is he just dies.
Yeah.
Like maybe you slap hard to kill on him sometimes if his tech's super relevant for the matchup, but like he will just die at 8 wounds, hard to wound.
Yeah, and Maddening
Cool
Drums
feel,
had a
though.
nice tech because obviously Thunders needs even more tech, but I think the models that were good against the crews that Maddening Drums good against aren't as common anymore.
He's fairly survivable though, with defensive power 6, hard to wound, Juggernaut, and the Thunder.
We might just have like different definitions of survival at that point in time, because like 6/6 is nice and hard to wound is nice, but
2
like,
force
I don't
kills him, which
Yeah.
isn't uncommon at the moment.
That's
It's
fair.
literally Iron Matron kills him with 2 mids.
Like Juggernaut only matters if you live from like one activation to the next. So
Yeah.
you have to be sure you're playing into a crew where that happens.
Mhm.
Like this is literally a model I think you just can't hire against Iron Matron, which is the fact that that's just going to be such a huge thing is a little tilting, but it's something we really do have to pay attention to.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna give him a 4 and move on.
All right, 4 and move on. Story
the
of
other thing that I guess before we move on, he's got this hazardous thing that we didn't really have a good way to generate hazardous before. I don't know if this is a good way to generate hazardous or not, but like this is probably one of the better ways we have in the faction to generate hazardous now, and we have a lot of hazardous abusers in this faction. So like that's just the last thing I'll point out. There's a lot of cute synergies you can find between a lot of different keywords on this card if you look hard enough. But that's just one of the more relevant ones to point out, I guess.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. Story of Thang Kyong. I don't know.
I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce this one, but
is it like Indian?
This guy is like really good. Like the 6-inch take to hit bubble's nice. It being on a henchman is nice. The fact that you can get armor 1 shielded built in on top of all of that stuff is nice. And there's a decent number of keywords in Thunders where like the big downside of one model that you would play is that it's just really easy to kill. And so having this particular guy slot in well to those crews at like a pretty reasonable 9 out of keyword cost, like it's pretty good. He's never going to do anything really offensively for you, I don't think. It's like 245 with no real way to get off of 245, but like he's a good defensive model. We had a lot of good defensive models before though, So I don't know. He's like a 3 or a 4. I'll give him a 4. He's one of the better things that came out from this keyword.
Oh, Vietnamese. That's where it comes from. Interesting.
Like he solves some of the problems I was talking about earlier on Raijin. If you're playing him in keyword, like it's really hard to kill him through take the hit. You know, it's also just by that same token really hard to use Juggernaut when you have take the hit that you're casting.
Yeah,
But
it's a nice bonus too. Just pulsing out 1 damage while healing is just pretty nice.
Nice.
it's not bad.
Yeah, it is I do wonder how much you'll take him over just like slapping take the hit upgrade on another model, but
Like I said, it depends because you also have Terracotta Warriors for take the hit. Like the faction has no shortage of defensive models, but the big thing about him is you can play a lot more spread out, which is important for scheming with Divine King. Because like a 2-inch bubble on take the hit means you kind of have to play this like really tight bubbly game that leaves you vulnerable to a lot of AoE, and means you can't really spread out very well to try and score different schemes. Whereas having the ability to have that 6-inch take the hit bubble just really makes it a lot easier to cover more of your guys.
yeah, no, I really do like Divine King. It is.
Yeah, like it's a good model.
It's a really nice ability. All right, map. It's a map. It's the map. The map.
It's pretty cute.
I think I'm supposed to give this one a 3 in reference to everything else, but like in keyword, he's probably like a 4 or a 5. Like this model's pretty decent. No, he's not a 5. 5 would mean he'd have to be good for the rest of the game, relative. I don't know. He's nice for the slowing with Lindley. He's pretty hard to put down with all the healing and the hench status, but there's just so much that ignores all that crap in the top tier right now, and just like kills him in one go. I don't know. I don't like him. I don't love him. I don't hate him either, but like, I'll put him a 3.
Yeah,
He doesn't really do much outside of the keyword.
I kind of agree. I think even in the keyword, I mean, this is like the hell fact that like Lindley's keyword I think is 3 stars anyways. Is like it could have been really good pre Burns maybe, but
I just
now
think it's a
we're
bad
in
GG for it. I
madness.
think it could be good in a different GG, but we're not in that GG.
Maybe I
So
still
here we
think
are.
not only does we need a different GG, you need to tamper down how super alpha some of the crews can be. Because at the moment, I think it just dies too easily to
Well,
too
like
many one
you
round
can do some
attacks.
ridiculous deep scheming from your deployment zone with all the movement and reactivations you can get out of this crew. Like I don't want to downplay that part of this crew. You have ridiculous ability to just put people on the map and have them take interact actions in weird different places between the ability to reactivate them, push them, protect them all while you're doing it. It's just that like the damage on this crew is really bad, and this is a GG that really rewards having good damage.
Yeah, that about sums it up. I also think they die a little too easy to the specific crews that I think are good at the moment. And because that playstyle is rewarded, it's a double fold hit to this crew. All
Double
right,
whammy.
onwards to Paper Tiger.
I think this card's trash. No, I can't say it's trash. Intimidating Roar is really good. All right, here's my hot take from it the other day. This thing is like literally discount Kitty Demont, which is funny because it's a paper tiger. It's a cat.
Yeah.
But the important part here being that it does a lot of the same things of like unpacking your crew with Intimidating Roar, which is really good, and then later on in the game just scheming with Blown by the Wind. Like this isn't a fighting piece like Made to Kill would make you think it is. Like it's pretty bad at fighting, and I don't think the like trying to use it as a combat piece is ever going to go well for you. Like maybe it will kill your opponents like flankers if they're playing bad flankers, and then you'll get value off of the whole make them discard cards and Made to Kill whatever. But I don't think that's why you're hiring this model. You're hiring this model because you want to push something up the board and then scheme later.
Nah, this is 100%
I give this thing like
model.
I definitely give this thing a 4.
Interesting. That's almost higher than I
yeah.
would rate it, but it
I feel
is
like
funny to me.
Or is reasonable anti-scheming too if they decide to send a minion out there and you just like blown by the wind over next to it and intimidating roar out of the position. That could be good.
Like no, this model is pretty good. Like it does die when it's killed, but it's pretty decent for what it's done at the point in which it dies. So
They initially
I think you'll usually be happy with this model.
I think that would be a better rule.
Like, it's very TN-less as far as doing everything it needs to do in a game, and that's pretty valuable.
It's
Exactly.
definitely don't take this model against Seamus model.
Yeah.
Hey, you get cover before you die, so you can
Yeah.
be 6 versus 6.
Uh-huh.
I would agree, though. There's a lot of models that you just don't take versus Seamus.
Yeah. Yeah, the always having cover is funny, but yeah. All right. Bookkeeper.
So is that a model where if I take a paper cutout proxy of it and just never play the real model, are people going to get upset at me with for doing that? I mean, it is a paper tiger, right?
If you
like,
can
that's the flavor.
origami fold a
origami
paper
the
tiger,
tiger. Yeah.
then I think everyone would allow it.
Or the best like stick drawing of a tiger
No.
would also be valid.
I want an
Just
origami
want to like
tiger.
Paper Mario straight up, draw something in my notebook and glue it to a base. Maybe some glossy photo paper. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're
Um,
right. Raijin does make it not die to completely one shot to Seamus, but I still wouldn't take it.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
Not right. You could also use it with Thong, the henchman.
All right, bookkeeper.
Bookkeepers I like. I don't think I like them at all this GG. But in a different GG, these are like 5 out of 5 minions. In this GG, I think they're like not great, but
where's
like
all your scheme marker
I'm
generators?
gonna give them a 5 anyways. This
All right.
minion is pretty good.
I'm actually with you on that. Just because like I don't want to rate too hard for this GG, but by God, the amount
It's
of
like
interacting this guy can do is way
3
too
AP to
insane.
like move and interact with Don't Mind Me is already pretty decent for 6 stones. But then they get shielded so that they like have an awkward breakpoint to hit at 7 damage, which, you know, there are things in the game that will do that, but it's still like an awkward breakpoint. For 6 stones anyways.
And you know
And
what?
then,
Vertical
like,
distance is just so weird.
it's weird, but it's cute.
Yeah, it's
It will
really
come up
good.
sometimes. But then like the paper cut sometimes makes them beat kind of okay. Not really, but sometimes. In Curse Translation, there's things in this faction that can give minus to willpower kind of sometimes. Not really like things that I'm looking for them primarily. But the fact
It's
that they
mostly
also
nice
can
to
just draw cards
secrets.
before you they can draw a bunch of cards in like the earlier turns while you're still fighting before you just explode out of your deployment zone on like turn 3 or 4 to just do some deep scheming because you've given them reactivate. Like, you can move this guy 20 inches and take two like interacts along the way by reactivating it, right? By just walking 4 times in one turn. So like, just imagine you're playing symbols and trying to hide a symbol from one of these assholes.
I
Like,
mean, it's already pretty good in wagons. Like you can just run wagons.
oh yeah,
through
wagons
the
too.
board.
These things are absolutely great. Like, yeah, wagons is definitely one of the spots where I think this crew could shine in the current GG. But wagons is also really fighty.
Yep.
So you have to play like a weird wagons game.
If you play flank wagons, you can play it. So obviously you just like run like, or horners even. You can run like the far edges and force the opponent to spread out. But yeah.
And this is one of those crews where you'll actually have enough interacts to do that. So it's kind of crazy in that regard. But
yeah.
These minions are why that I think this crew could actually be powerhouse in a different GG. So whenever I've been saying that, you know, I keep giving all these other models like 3s, 4s, like this is the model I'm looking at primarily.
Yeah.
That really gets me excited about it.
And mostly for me, it's because I think the other models still stay at that tier if like if the top tier stuff doesn't get nerfed at the moment, whereas bookkeepers by themselves are just pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Mia. How is Mia doing?
This is a witness model.
Yeah.
She or astute, you might be able to get good value out of it in this keyword, but like, I don't know, this is a witness model.
It's not.
You're gonna rarely have your combs built in for the config, just because like, if you're playing the keyword, if you just hire a bunch of story models, it's gonna be tough for you to have enough red library to make, you know, the first or the bibliotech worth playing. And if you're playing the story version of this master, you're playing the story version of this master, which I think is just worse. But then maybe you've got enough story to make it worthwhile, but I don't know. Then you have activation order concerns, yada yada. You don't get to arc from Damien like you do with, Witness, so like the 10-inch Jinx and your move 4 is actually relevant. I don't know.
Yeah.
3 stars, moving on.
You really think you're not going to just hire 2 other stories? I mean, that's all it takes to get 3 tomes in your config.
I mean, you probably do. I don't know.
And then you can just jinx your own models. Like, it's...
You do have to have that disc tome in your discard pile when you activate the story model, which you just won't always have.
That's true.
Any good mill mechanics in the keyword?
Not really. Failing their own flips.
Well versed, kind of.
Any of
Yeah,
your
well
friends
versed,
like-
I guess, is
like-
actually
like
the best way.
do tools with your own models to do things.
I don't know that this keyword's going to flip a ton of cards.
Oh, right. The totem is a story model, so you always have yeah, you
suppose
literally
that's
only
true.
need one other model.
If there's always a tome when they activate in your discard pile, yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's that hard to get off. And honestly, the rest of the card's pretty decent. Like, even just range 10 Jinx is not terrible. The fact that it gives shielded to your whole crew while doing that is kind of nice. It makes, like, the people who weren't as, like, tanky a little bit tankier.
Why are we giving shielded to our whole crew? I mean,
Whenever...
we might do it to our story guys, but we don't really discard a lot of cards from our control hand, I don't think, in this crew.
That's fair. That's fair. Because well versus them from your hand. Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess it's just the story ones that would be getting a little extra shielded, but story ones
there's
are the ones
Juggernaut
that
on
kind of
what's
go
his
in.
face, but
Raijin, yeah, give him a little arcane shielded from Mia.
and all the take the hit. I guess it's important for the take the hit, really. That's what's really important for it. But then you're kind of bubbling hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
That part is good. I don't know. Maybe it moves up to a 4 because of that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think
feel like there
I
are
think
better bubbles to play.
I think there might be better models. I still don't think that it's terrible. It's Jinx is always still a good card ability. It's only 6
I think
soul
there's like
stones.
good stuff on this model, but it very much reads like the fat that I'm trimming in a list if I need to fit something else in. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
where
gonna
I'm
put
at
it at
3.
3 as well. Yeah, there's enough that
There's cute synergies, but it's not a game plan model.
yeah. I think it can be pretty decent. Obviously it's nice for one, as just get the guaranteed 1 ping. Sometimes more, because you'll have like 3 cards in it, but yeah, not that many. Alright, Calligrapher.
People are really excited about this model. I'm not. I don't know. People get really excited about rewrite, and I just look at them going, I have to win a duel, and then I get to like move some tech around, and then I do something to the model. I don't know. I like the 6 stone guys so much more that I don't know when I'm hiring the 5 stone guys. Like the hazardous thing might be cute. I don't know. Needs a suit and a 5. I'm not excited about these guys.
Yeah, rewrite's cute, but I kind of agree with you.
I mean, Accomplice helps you do that pretty well, right? And it's another one of those shielded type discards for me, I guess. And like, I don't know, it's neat, but there's also so many things that just aren't on that list now that just have defensive tech you can't steal or ignore. Like good old what's his face, Watson. We were just talking about. He doesn't give people hard to wound. He just puts you on a negative. Like, or Kingswall. He doesn't have any of this stuff. He just puts you on negatives. So like, I think rewrite looks better than it is in the context of like all these things used to be what was defensive tech, and that the new things just don't have that defensive tech, or they just have that plus something else that's really important, and it's just never going to get you all of the way to doing what you need to do, especially at range 8 on a stat 5 willpower duel. You have to win to even have this setup go off. Like, it's a lot of cards duels to win.
Yeah, I think the realistically rewrite is ignore armor, right? It's just like that's what it is. It's like, oh, I want to take away Peacekeeper's armor. I want to take away Iron Matron's armor. I want to take away King's
but
Wall
Iron
armor.
Analyze weakness already existed in this faction on higher stats on better models, and we still rarely, if at all, use that.
I agree.
I don't know.
I
Not a fan. I'll give
agree.
these guys a 2, and that'll be generous.
I think I agree with that. I don't feel like they do anything special besides rewrite, and most of the time we've learned that that is not that useful of ability, especially because it's
trying to
range 8.
Yeah, good
Like-
accomplice combo with these guys, and yeah, it's tough.
Like, because I just don't really view Red Library as, like, a killy list, so removing hard to wound, hard to kill, I don't feel like is the most important. Armors, for a similar reason, is kind of nice, but when you're mainly focused around, like, interacting or all that other stuff, like, is it
I mean,
that
ignore
great?
for a fact just Red Library. Are we taking these in general situations where we'd want to get rid of this tech? And I still don't think the answer is yes.
Yeah. Yep, that's the problem. Slippery, though, is
Like,
always great. But
Yeah,
Slippery on a...
Slippery's
I don't
nice.
know, yeah.
And I think if for some reason you were playing a crew where like you're always going to have the tome and you can abuse the hazardous, maybe they're okay. But you also have to have a scheme marker in the right position. I don't know. It's tough for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are decently survivable for 5 wounds with Slippery and always having concealment, though.
But there's a lot of guns that just ignore the concealment to begin with.
Yep. Why I'm happy with 2. Alright. Onwards towards... Oh! The rabbit does not have well-versed. Who knew? Jade Rabbit. Our cute little totem.
I think this thing looks harder to kill than it is. Like, it's not hard to get to 2 pluses to hit. But, like, Arcane Reservoir is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can, I guess, get free schemes, which is neat.
Also, sometimes you negative flip better
And he's
than
a
a
story
defense
model,
check.
so he puts tomes in your config. Like, that's cool. I don't know. You look at every other totem that got put out this set. You look at
Yeah.
Jade Rabbit, and you tell me Jade Rabbit is not a 1 to all of their 5s. I'm gonna put that down there.
Yeah,
You compare the two and tell me this isn't a 1.
But yeah,
Bygones 1, I don't think is that amazing. I'll say that. I really
No,
like
Entomb
it.
is
Entomb
so
is
good.
kind of really cracked.
It's a significant move 7 model with Entomb that
Yeah.
doesn't die when it's killed, and it has armor 2 on top of
5
that.
out of 5 totem.
seems
At the same
Uh,
defense as my totem here,
Yeah.
with armor
Yeah.
that sometimes just can't be ignored, or not can't be ignored, but can reduce to 0. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I don't know. Lucky is not good defensive tech by comparison. Lucky is focus, drop a stone, and then kill it in 1 hit because it's got 3 wounds. Like I don't know.
But
It focus
might...
and a plus flip from some. Oh yeah, stone. That's what you meant.
Yeah,
by
exactly.
Stone.
Or
Got
they
it.
Focus on the stone.
intuition
Oh,
and
yes.
just see the red Joker, and then they just red Joker you.
If you're using your red joke to kill this model, I am thrilled.
Jeez.
Like, God damn it. Defense 3, sometimes they just flip
Yeah.
good and kill you anyways if they
Yeah,
make negative.
yeah.
I don't even know.
You know what? As a meme, I'll do it. I'll give it 2 stars. I won't put it as low as 1 star because Arcane Reservoir is still that good. But
Yeah, that's fair.
it is literally
Sure.
a model where you're just like, fine, I will literally do nothing with this model except for hide in my crew.
It drops the scheme. It's sometimes good in other GGs.
Yeah, but it's dropping that scheme. Okay, first of all, your crew's amazing at dropping
Look,
schemes.
sometimes you're going to suicide run it out to go drop a scheme. Like, that's fair.
Yeah,
Dear
I
fella.
think turn 4, turn 5, moving 12, dropping a scheme is pretty decent.
Yeah.
But turn 1, 2, 3, you're probably just making sure you don't die so Arcane Reservoir stays on the board.
Yeah, like, this is Doc Mitchell if Doc Mitchell died to everything. Which he does, admittedly, I guess. But
Yeah.
he's giving me big Doc Mitchell vibes without being able to heal my guys.
Yeah. I will say, argument to the one-person chat, it's not a pass token because it doesn't generate you a pass token, so you don't get to, go 2 activations in a row. He's actually a little bit of a liability because if he dies
Then you lose
before
activation control.
activating, now you're now they have a pass token up on you basically. Yeah. All right. 2 stars. Realistically, as a totem, it's kind of fine. As a totem compared to the new totems, yeah. All right. What's the starter box keyword? Do you know?
Starter box, it's Sayuri, which Sayuri.
Oh my
Sayuri.
god, we're not done yet. Jesus.
3 models
Close.
left, Ryan.
I'm
All
so
right.
hungry.
All right, it's a
I
marathon.
think
We'll
we'll
get
just
through it.
blast through these. And Landon, you can just tell us why this is the most broken model that released in this game at the moment. Even though might not make anything the best tier, it is
It's definitely broke.
Gameplay-wise, the most broken model released so far.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I don't even disagree with that, even if it doesn't put Shenlong on the tier, in my opinion, of everything else. It's definitely busted.
All right, take it away. Explain it.
Sure, so let's open up Koji here. Alright, first thing, protection money. Not the only model in this faction with protection money. After an enemy scheme mark's dropped within 6, draw a card. Taker's Bane, not enemy only. Hit something, drop an enemy scheme marker. Alright, that by itself, you know what, you hire a couple protection money auras, maybe that's 6 cards in one turn, or one activation. What's 6 cards, you know? You hired Lotus Eaters and Crime Bosses to get 6 cards, who cares? 6 cards is only an entire hand of cards. But then we put in 4 Winds Punch, and every time you 4 Winds Punch, you drop up to 3 scheme markers within 3 of the target. And since you drop the same kind that you picked up, you get to then reproc every protection aura money in your crew for every time you 4 Winds Punch for every scheme marker that you dropped. So you can be drawing something like, I think someone did the math in another Discord, 144 cards a turn if you wanted to like really pimp it out. You'll never do that, I don't think, because you don't ever need 144 cards in a turn. But like the fact that we're talking about this kind of math being possible should tell you that this model is busted. Downsides, this only works really in Shenlong, where you have the healing to A, support shooting your own models to drop the enemy schemes, and B, 4 Winds Punch doesn't come out anywhere else. But like this guy's like Sensei Yu on crack. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
If we ignore that interaction, he's like a 3 out of 5 model. He's kind of okay. Like the fact that you get a lot of control over where Taker's Bane drops the enemy scheme marker means you can kind of try and screw with people when you're playing their, you know, markers out to try and what do you call it? Deny their schemes by giving them markers on the board, which is cute.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very much just the cheesy Shenlong model that you're primarily going to see this guy being played for.
The leader of the Sayura or whatever treating enemy scheme markers as hazardous shielded, I think it's fun.
Neat for giving him like that extra few points of shielded, so you can't really kill him to take out the engine, since you can just with Taker's Bane drop the scheme under you to just get shielded for having taken the action to make the scheme.
I think it's cool.
But like, other than the fact that he draws 8 Gorillion cards, he's not that exciting of a model.
His bonus is kind of cracked. Just a stat 6, deal 3 bonus. Pretty nice.
You just drop the scheme
It's usually going to deal like 1 and just draw you some cards, but even that's fine.
Yeah. Either you kill it with 3 damage or you deal 1 and draw 2. It's pretty amazing ability.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's also only range 6.
Alright, so 5 stars while it's still broken, although admittedly that list
might change how 4 Winds Punch works, I don't think this model is better than 3 stars.
Or just make protection money once per activation.
I don't even think this is better than 2 stars if they fix the Shenlong interaction. I'll go that hard.
Actually, once per activation would still make it really busted.
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't change much.
It changes it a little bit, but yeah. Alright. Kara.
It actually changes a lot, but...
Cute little panther.
Kara. I'm not sure where I land on Kara quite yet. I think Kara could be maybe decent if you're already taking it, but I feel like you already take so many like weird support models in this list.
You can't afford it.
That you can't afford Kara. And there's just a lot of other cool things. Some people have pointed out that it's humorous that gang warfare doesn't work with Play with Prey. If you want to try and read that and tell me why, that's, you know, funny, but
wait.
It's
I don't know. Oh, gang warfare is the
trigger on Play with Prey. I don't think you'll find anyone who's actually going to genuinely tell you it won't work, but as written it doesn't, and that's just funny.
Why does it? I'm not seeing why it doesn't work.
Take a claw action targeting model that was what, Brian?
The push.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Push it.
That's hilarious.
But I don't think you'll find anyone who's going to.
That's an easy misprint.
And you know what's great is it won't get fixed for at least a year. Like It's clear, like, yeah,
It'll
that's
be in the FAQ.
Yeah, it'll just be in
It's
an
funny.
FAQ.
FAQ. Yep, they will not change the card.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think
funny.
this model is really worth playing. You'll play it if you own the starter box and nothing else, probably.
Yeah, that's about what I'd say.
I'll give it a 2. This is an unironic 2. I'm giving it a 2.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty easy. This is actually like a super dies when killed, with his
Yep.
only real tech being stealth.
Menacing, but yeah.
And menacing, yeah. I don't know. Menacing is weird on a model that wants to like go forward, kind of. I really don't know like what the purpose of this model is trying to
Yeah, I don't
achieve.
know what the purpose of this model is either.
It's not like an
I
amazing
might
attack.
give it a 1, but I
It's
feel like it's
push.
at least a 2.
Being enemy only is weird. I mean, I guess it's nice that it removes the markers while it pushes them and attacks. Like, I don't know. You're
Ignoring
flipping
range.
a lot.
Yeah.
You're just flipping a lot of cards, having to win a lot of duels.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
All right. And our last model of the stream, the Amai.
He's kind of cool. I don't think I'll ever play him. 3 stars compared to the Cats 2.
Sure.
No, 3 stars implies I'll ever play this model. 2 stars, done.
If we're never playing these models, why would it not just be a 1?
Because I don't know that he's a terrible model with like confidence stance is just kind of neat.
Hey,
More menacing is kind of
Look,
neat.
what if
Gamble does
lets
give you free food.
Gamble lets you set
Gamble
up
is
the
good.
card draw engine. So
Yep.
like, start like you don't need to stone for cards anymore. Just turn 1, you dump your hand. Then you have a bunch of scheme markers out because you hired 2 of these, and then you start 4 wins punching right away. Boom.
Yeah,
done.
exactly. There's some reason why you might ever play these. I just don't think you ever will. I have to laugh that this is a 5 stone minion with no damage reductions whatsoever and Juggernaut. Oh, we need to put a bonus action on this 5 stone minion. Should we give it? I don't know. Do we want to just give it the ability to strip a condition and take an extra action? That seems really good.
Yeah.
You know what's equivalent to that? Juggernaut.
Is that like
Like fuck me,
survivalist?
dude. Look
No.
at this model side by side with the Arcanist model,
Gearling.
and tell me they're both worth 5 stones.
Landon, they're both worth 5 stones.
You don't have them side by side, Brian. I don't believe you.
Also, he's not looking you in the eyes. Look,
I
look,
am.
I'm telling you, this model is broken 5 stars out of 5 stars because you just don't know it yet. Next book, they're just gonna print another Luck Thief Master in 10 Thunders and forget all about Pandora's shenanigans.
Oh, so you can do the threat.
You
Yeah.
can threaten. Well, we already could do that, Longton. We have Lotus Eaters for that.
Ah, okay, never mind. You're right. 1 star out of 1 star. Yeah, I don't get. I don't. Honestly,
You just-
it's really weird. Arcanists are the favorite child, I guess, and 10 Thunders. They printed Yoko. That was pretty cool. But other than
yeah, but
that,
Yoko's not even good. Just listen to everybody else.
yeah, well, they're
Pass
high.
tokens don't even matter, bro.
Yeah, fucking, I hate people who think Yoko 2 is fair. Not that everyone else has pass tokens, maybe she is, but we'll see.
There.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm
but
just salty. Look at what my faction got compared to everything else. Koji's like the only thing, and he just makes Shenlong kind of okay. I still think he's worse than everybody else got, except for
also
maybe
look at how
Castor.
cool the Gearlings look.
Yeah.
These are the models.
Yeah, I just
we
got like a cool old man who's like ready to go commit some crimes on someone. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think looking at the Gearlings is a good way to end this.
Why are these the same cost
Look at them.
as those guys?
Just
What the
look
hell,
at them.
dude?
Yeah, these
Use the
are.
defensive. Get the fuck out. Yeah.
You get like 3 more pieces of defensive tech than my 5 stone starter box model does, and you get an extra AP over it.
Yeah, but you guys
Also,
got
you
Juggernaut.
copy- Yeah, you get
Yeah,
Juggernaut.
we got that Juggernaut.
That's
Oh
good.
my god.
Man,
Beans.
That's just like the biggest meme is that, you know, you're designing a 10 Thunders model. All right, it doesn't have a bonus action yet. Just give it Juggernaut. What does that even make any sense? Does it work in the context of the crew? Like, are we gonna have enough cards to Juggernaut? I don't just fuck it, hand it Juggernaut. It doesn't matter.
I think fluff-wise it kind of works. I think like every other big crime boss in Ten Thunders has Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Every model in Ten Thunder says Juggernaut.
How many? I actually am curious. How many Juggernauts
That's a great
do you think
question.
there
Let's
are?
figure that out.
Like 11?
Holy crap! There's a
Oh.
lot
I'm
of
not
them. There's
kidding
9.
with-
There are 9 Juggernaut
What
What
models.
percentage of all the Juggernauts do they have in the game? That's the real question.
So more than 50%.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yep, sounds about right.
There is in Guild has 3.
18, exactly 50%. They have half the Juggernaut models in the game.
Wow.
They have half the Juggernaut.
Like I said, just you need a bonus action? Juggernaut.
The only
Makes
good
sense.
Now
model.
look at all those
yeah.
Juggernauts and figure out how many of them actually use Juggernaut.
Lady J.
Justice.
No, I meant like in Thunders.
In
Oh.
Thunder's just a zombie, right? It has to be. Maybe
Kang,
Samurai, but I
technically.
think just a
There's
zombie.
no way I'm using Juggernaut in a Zamu. I do not have enough cards for that.
I mean, that might be
Um,
fair. Sometimes you have a 2 you really don't care about.
Yeah, then you use that to flurry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. True.
Samurai?
Yeah, Samurai and Kang.
Samurai are usually just dead.
Fuhatsu.
Yeah, Samurai normally. Yeah, if you don't kill Samurai, maybe say Juggernaut's good. But yeah, I don't know. Juggernaut costing a card doesn't need to exist anymore in current Malifaux. Like
You know who
honestly,
else gets this card a
and
card
the,
to heal and also have to win a TN? All the models that have similar ability in the Levy keyword.
Yeah.
yeah.
Literally.
I think
works
Fuhatsu and the Henchmen are the only ones who really get any mileage out of Juggernaut.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But they needed to print Juggernaut again so that they would actually be half.
They would
They got
have the
two,
hat.
they got
the
2
50%.
Juggernaut models. Wow.
One.
Yeah, with that, hot takes. The whole competitive scene is going to be Tall, Bygone, Karis Hoffman, Damien. Yeah.
Damien.
Ar-
Half the meta is just going to be
half,
Arcane
half the
Boss.
metal's
Yeah.
going to be arts.
Well, on the bright
that
side.
being said, though, I think that is a lower power of the Bygone Tall triangle, but
I think I
the
would have
fact
been
that they get
happier
to,
if all of the keywords released kind of at the same level as Red Library, because I don't really actually hate Red Library as much as I might have let on.
Uh-huh.
But like, it is
It's just-
not everything else that came out
It's
in
just
Mom.
everything else is so crazy. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end it.
But are all those things still crazy at 40 soulstones?
I don't know. I got to get in some 40
yes.
Soulstone practice games to practice for the biggest tournament of the year. Adepticon, be there
Yep.
or
I
don't.
just-
I don't know.
I legitimately, this is where I burn bridges. I almost want to say don't, just because I'm so fucking salty over the fact that it's a 40 Soulstone 3-round tournament at the biggest fucking wargame convention nearby us.
Look, if 40 Soulstone sucks as a format, would you want to play 5 rounds of it? Like,
yeah, I
That's
still
a
would,
good
because I
point.
still just doing it to hang out with friends. If I'm playing 40 Soulstones, I'm not playing competitive Malifaux anymore. I'm just having fun playing against people like in our meta.
Just organize your own 5-round
Yeah.
Tacklefo event.
I
Okay,
almost
yeah,
want to do
friends.
that. I legitimately thought about. I pretty much burned every bridge with Weird, which I don't think I have any. But you know,
Have any?
hey, they sent us stuff at the Content Creators
Yeah.
Invitational. That means they recognize that we exist.
Exactly.
So there are
yeah.
bridges to be burned in
Oh,
some
okay.
regard.
yeah. Plus they've paid us out really well at all the big tournaments nearby us, and that's really cool.
Nice.
But it really does piss me off. I mean, maybe I'd do it on a day they're not doing it on. Just be like, hey, I'll organize. I'll literally house and host a whole 5-round tournament if like anyone wanted to come during Adepticon, and just kind of like a little blasted over the fact that we're not going to have competitive foe there. But
What, the cupcake match is totally competitive. Yeah.
is the cupcake match at least like 50 soulstones? Like I don't even
have
know
no
what the hell
idea.
the cupcake match is.
I don't even know what that
Except for
means.
it's a match where you're expected to bring cupcakes and eat cupcakes while playing. I don't know how the rules of that work, but it sounds like a fun side event. Maybe a little
If
too
I
much
was
sugar.
going, I would do this because I love baked goods. but I'm not going.
I'm going to
so.
say that the reason it really pisses me off that it's a 40-round tournament and only 3 rounds is 40 Soulstone tournament 3 rounds is because I already know half of the competitive players that we're used to seeing at almost every event have actively said that's why they're not showing up. I'm not going to name any names, but I've been told by multiple different people, hey, I'm not coming to this event just because I don't think it's worth flying to Chicago to play a 3-round 40 Soulstone tournament. I think Brian and Kyle, they don't always drive down for a DEFCON anyways, but I mean, this is just another excuse for them not to come visit us in Chicago that they absolutely hate doing, apparently.
Well, no, I hate going to Chicago. Kyle, that's not a Kyle
Yeah,
thing.
Kyle would come. It's getting Brian here. And then, like...
Brian's afraid someone will die if he shows up because he sees car crashes or something. Like, they
Dude,
revolve
every
around
time
him.
I've driven to Chicago, I have witnessed a car crash within like 2 miles of me, man. I don't want to go there.
I actually just watched a car flip.
A 6-hour drive, you'd expect to see some action.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of funny because I don't really care to go to this Adepticon. I might not, depending on who I know is going. None of my competitive friends are going. It'd just be my locals. I'll just wait and go to a local event,
save your money.
and not pay money on a Adepticon badge ticket. The thing, and I'm a person who regularly drives the 6-hour drive to Des Moines to just go play at a local. Like I'm gonna have more fun doing that than playing at Adepticon. That feels so weird to me. But I guess that's just how it be.
I think the cupcake match is a single game from what I'm seeing.
I have no idea.
That's what it is.
All right. I think we've been streaming for a long time. This is us winding down and just having casual conversation. I'm gonna end it here. My last hot takes is it's going to be the Age of Tall and then Bygone as well. Good lord, we're going to see a lot of those too.
This is just Haku downplaying Arcs because it's what he's going to play.
I'm not sure. I think Tall gets blasted by Karis though. Because if he groups, you just get to rampage over the whole crew, and ping ones are going to be huge against that crew. And Karis having double focus going in with burning 15, so she gets to do a guaranteed 5 damage. It might be the answer to Tull. But we'll see. I'm not sure about that yet, but especially because if Tull just gets a good stagger pushback shot in Karis somehow, sad.